You know it's this. Take a perk and a talk of that shit. Money swallowing like sis. Did it perfect in the kid. Got a billion who sang on my head. Look up better put on the road I just spent. I know we got $1 million. The devil that shit ain't not cheaper than again.
Hello and welcome back, fellow anime lovers, to MangaMuse. I am delighted to have you join us once again in the world of fanfiction and fantasy. This is the 5th part of What If Naruto Enters Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes. Special note, this fanfic is written and a masterpiece of KFB Anime 87 on FANFICTIONnet. Do check and support the author too. Now smash the like, share and subscribe button for more. Also press the bell icon so that you never miss such great parts. Thanks for the introduction. Now let's dive into the world. FAST. A week after Fisk's imprisonment. After Naruto, Elektra, and Peter put Fisk behind bars, news had circulated of Naruto's kiss with Elektra courtesy of Deadpool sending in the photo to multiple sources. Including and not limited to J. Jonah Jameson, The Daily Bugle, and several other news outlets. Which may or may not have angered a few women that had things for the blonde. Mainly Janet. Hey buddy, how's it going? You make a date with the ninja yet? Peter asked as he clapped Naruto on the back in greeting, making Naruto turn to him. Hey Pete, you get back with the redhead at the Bugle like May asked yet? She did say you two would make cute kids, Naruto asked with a fake smile. Point made, Peter said after a few moments of thought. What are you here for anyways? Don't you have your job to do? Naruto asked knowing Peter usually had his real job today. I wish. We got shut down. I'm now sleeping in May's office seeing as I got kicked out of my apartment, Peter said with a sigh. Naruto frowned at this as he knew how much Peter did as Spider-Man, probably more than even he did as Joy Boy, and he didn't get paid at all. On top of that, I need to see Mr. Lee about something for MJ, Peter admitted as he held up a black and white, antique-looking wooden mask. This a roleplay thing? Naruto asked curiously. Dude, shut up, Peter said as he rolled his eyes at his friend. What? It's a legitimate question, Naruto said as he looked at Peter. It's a mask I took off some goons that were raiding Fisk's auction house, Peter explained. Wow, the morons of this city don't waste time with making moves once the big fish get locked up, huh? Naruto said impressed. You have no idea, Peter deadpanned. Anyways, I'm gonna go check with Mr. Lee, Peter said. I'll come too. I need to get my next orders from him anyways since the food's all prepped, Naruto said before whispering to Peter, besides you may need some help with whatever these things are and it'd be good to have a name for them, he said as he and Akane could probably get some info from a few small groups when not on a global crisis mission. Fine, you can help, but I want some of that lasagna you made, Peter said as he smelled some of the food coming from the kitchen. Done. You can have the first bite, Naruto said as the two went upstairs to see Martin Lee when they knocked on the door to his office. Peter. Naruto. What can I do for you two? Martin asked with a smile as he put away some papers. I came for the next set of orders since the food's all prepped and Peter had a question for you, Naruto said as he nudged Peter. Yeah, my friend, MJ. She's a reporter and she's doing a story about art imports. And since you have an art history degree, I figured you may be able to help us, Peter admitted. A chance to actually use my degree? Let's see what you have for me, Martin said with a smile as Peter produced the antique mask. Lee looked at the mask and paused after seeing it, which Naruto caught with his observation haki. Ah, CRP, Naruto thought with a mental frown as he felt some kind of strange power coming off Lee just for a second, which wasn't a good sign. Interesting. Where did you say she found it? Lee asked, looking it over. I'm not really sure. Why, what is it? Peter asked curiously. It's a replica of an antique Chinese opera mask. I haven't seen one in years, Lee said before pointing to a symbol on the inside of the mask. This symbol here translates to demon. Lee said. Demon? Peter asked, a bit worried about the name. Well, my father read me ghost stories as a kid with that mask. It scared the hell out of me. Listen Peter, this mask it could be connected to dangerous people. Mary Jane may want a different story, Lee said, handing the mask back. You think she's in trouble? Peter asked nervously. Sigh, I don't know. But why take the risk? Lee asked. Sound advice. I say tell MJ and tell her it's a bad idea, Naruto said as he gave Peter a look with his eyes. Alright, thanks for the help Mr. Lee, Peter said as he took back the mask. Of course, anytime Peter. Naruto, why don't we check on the plants on the roof? See if they need some watering, Lee suggested. No problem, Naruto said as he followed after Lee upstairs where the garden was. As he walked past Lee to check on the plants, Lee's eyes were engulfed by darkness before he grabbed Naruto by the back of his neck. Hey, what the hell? Naruto yelled as he felt some kind of darkness started to cover his body. I don't like doing this to you, but I need your power, Lee said in an echoing voice as he entered Naruto's mind. Naruto's Mindscape. Lee appeared in what looked like a large village in a mountainous region. Surrounded by tall grass and large trees. Houses made of wood and stone. The sun shining brightly in the sky. Lee looked around and slightly smiled at what he saw. A nice place, probably his hidden village. It was almost a shame he'd have to corrupt this place. Well, you're half right, a echoing voice said before giddy laughter was heard, making Lee turn towards the source to see nothing there. Another presence? That's never happened before, Lee said. Well, you have never entered the mind of someone from my village, boy, the voice said with another laugh. Where are you? Lee asked. Here, there and everywhere. Also nowhere and somewhere. I'm also over there, the voice said, cackling crazily as Lee kept spinning around trying to find the source. Who are you? Show yourself. Lee demanded. Ooh, so negative this one. You can think of me as the past user of Naruto's power. And while I love meeting new people, I don't exactly like the fact you're trying to corrupt my reincarnation. So I bid you good day, sir, the voice said. Now Lee was saying before he was cut off again as suddenly a figure appeared in front of Lee. This figure seemed to be a man of Asian descent, but his hair was white and his clothes were white and he had a bright smile on his face. What are you? Lee asked as he slightly backed up. Call me Nika, and I said good day, sir. The voice yelled as he grew to the size of a giant before he attempted to stomp on Lee, who suddenly vanished in a flash of bright light, blinding the giant briefly. Gah. It's like when I walked in on Mito and Hashirama. UPP. The giant bellowed as he shrunk down. You won't be hard to deal with, Lee said as he approached Nika from behind as he raised his growing blade. Nika suddenly turned around and... Gahahahahaha. Nika yelled as his eyes bugged out of his head. What the foo dash, Lee yelled out as his own eyes popped out of his skull in shock at this. Before Nika slugged him in the face, patty cake patty cake. Nika yelled, sending a flurry of fists flying at Lee, who was now dazed after 6 consecutive punches to the face. He's on the ropes, folks, and Nika goes for the haymaker. Nika yelled, sending a right haymaker into Lee, dispersing the man from the mindscape. Aw, no more. I was having fun. Gahahahaha. Nika said as he fell on his back and rolled on the ground, laughing happily as the ground bounced him. Guess my reincarnation will get the really fun fights. I haven't had a good one since old En Sabah and I duked it out. And I can't wait to see what he does, Nika cackled before vanishing from sight. Outside Naruto's mindscape. Lee gasped as he let go of Naruto and the RBB man dropped to one knee. Ugh, my head. What was that? Naruto asked with a groan as he suddenly stood up from the ground before turning to see Lee breathing heavily. Hey, you okay, Mr. Lee? Naruto asked with a raised eyebrow, making Lee blink as he realized Naruto didn't even know what he was doing. Why, yeah, I'm fine. Lee said as he took a breath. Maybe you should go home and get some rest. I'm sure Mei and I can handle things here if you need a day, Naruto suggested. Why, yeah. I think that's a good idea. Thanks, Lee said as he quickly walked away from Naruto. Huh? What's eating him? Naruto asked as he raised an eyebrow at this before he shrugged, completely unaware what had happened thanks to Lee's attempted interference with his mind. Hours later. Thanks for the wheat cakes, Miss Parker, Naruto said, holding a small package of wheat cakes. It's the least I can do. You've been such a help here after all. Community service or not, you help a lot of people smile here, May said with a smile. The least you could do is give me the recipe for these cakes, Naruto said with a smile. Sorry, but it's a family recipe. Even Peter doesn't know it yet, but he will one day, May said with a head shake and a chuckle. Rats. Oh well. I'll see you next weekend, Naruto said with a smile. Isn't your community service over next weekend? May asked curiously. Yeah, and? Naruto asked as he raised an eyebrow at this, making May smile. You're a good kid, Naruto Uzumaki. Never forget that, May told him. Kid? I'm 21 years old. Naruto said as he pouted a bit. Still a kid compared to me, May said with a teasing smile. Ah, you're young at heart though. That's what really matters, Naruto told her before his phone started to ring. I should take this. Hello? Naruto asked into his phone. Brother, I could use your assistance on something, Akane said over the phone. I'm not burying a body, sis, Naruto said with a firm tone. May blinked at this before she looked at Naruto with a raised eyebrow. Long story. Not important, Naruto mouthed to her. No, brother. I ran into 2 of your concubines while on a patrol with Electra. Akane told him. I don't have concubines, DMN. Naruto groaned. Several people in Feast stopped what they were doing and looked at Naruto hearing this. What? I said I don't have them. Naruto yelled before going back to his call. Well, they both have your scent. Regardless, we were fighting some hand ninjas when these men in suits and black and white masks gunned them down with some strange black and white energy weapons before driving off. Something about them seems off. It's putting me and your animalistic CNCBN on edge, Akane told him seriously. Fine, text me the address and I'll meet you all there. Do not engage until I get there. I'm talking to you, Badger. Naruto said seriously. Get your ass over here then before I pop my claws into their eyes. Laura was heard yelling. Oh, I really like her and Electra, Akane said with an audible smirk before Naruto hung up. That's your sister? May asked curiously. Yeah. She's intense to say the least, Naruto admitted. I saw the footage of her attacking Rhino when he was attacking the park. Intense is putting it mildly, May said. Yeah, she said something about him putting kids in danger, so can't blame her on that, Naruto admitted. Really? Sounds like your sister. While Intense wants to help people like you and Spider-Man, May said with a chuckle. Yeah. She's still finding out what it means to truly be strong, but she's on the right path. I can tell that much at least, Naruto said with a small smile. Well, get going and share some of those cakes with your sister and girlfriends, May said with a smirk. Yes ma'am, Naruto said nodding as he left before realizing what she said. Wait, they're not my, whatever, it's not even worth trying to argue anymore today, Naruto sighed before he catapulted himself into the sky with his arms stretched. Swinging through the city. Later on a New York rooftop. Midtown. Akane sat in a meditative position holding her mace while Electra was cleaning her sais. Next to them Rogue was looking out over the city streets via binoculars while Laura was leaning against a wall with her eyes closed. She perked up as her sense of smell let her know Naruto had arrived as he landed on the rooftop. Took you long enough, Whiskers, Laura grunted out as she pushed herself off the wall and approached him. Sorry, was given a little gift by one of my bosses before I came here. Anyone want a wheat cake? Naruto asked as he held up the bag. You were slowed down by cake, MPPH. Akane was asking before Naruto shoved a cake in her mouth. You are forgiven. These are delicious, Akane said after eating said cake. Hey! Don't hog all those shuga. Rouge yelled as she took a break from her surveillance to grab a wheat cake. What's the situation? Naruto asked turning to Electra. 14 of these fools in masks. They gunned down 8-hand ninjas while they were distracted by us. They stole my kills before driving off to that office building, Electra said pointing her sais at the building. This is a vendetta? Naruto asked curiously as he didn't mind going after the demons but not for this. While I don't like sharing prey, it's not about that. During their drive-by attack while we were fine. 6 civilians were hit. 3 dead at the scene. 3 in critical condition, Electra said. And now they are gonna get hurt, Naruto said with a scowl. That's the plan, Laura said as she walked over. Entry points. Naruto asked curiously as he looked at Rouge who had been scoping the place. Door up top. So if we take out the 2 guards on the roof we can sneak in and do this real sneaky like Shuga, Rouge said. Good, alright, here's what I'm thinking. Electra, you're the quietest out of all of us. Take out the guards on the roof. Don't give them a chance to react. Then we just have the 12 inside. So long as we take them out fast, sneaking won't matter. We just gotta beat them before they can call any backup. We do that and then find out what the hell they're doing here, Naruto said. Solid plan, handsome. Leave it to me, Electra said with a smirk before leaping off the rooftop to take out the 2 guards on the other roof. So you need a boost or something? Naruto asked Rouge as he held out his arm to her. Well, I won't say no, Suga. You know just what a girl likes, Rogue said with a smile as she grabbed his arm with her hand. Her power is touching you. Are you sure she's not a CNCBN brother? Akane asked confused. She drains people of those powers and memories the longer she holds them. The longer the hold the longer she can use said power, Naruto explained with a sigh. So she is a sponge who can't fight on her own, Akane said with a scoff. Oi. I can use hockey on my own, ya BRT. Rogue yelled. That a fact? Akane asked as her eyes narrowed at Rouge. Wanna test it? Rogue asked as her arm turned black from armament hockey. An outsider that knows how to use hockey? How is that possible? Akane asked Naruto, her narrowed gaze turning to him. She grabbed me a few times to the point she got the gist of how to use all 3 and basically found a way to use it herself. She unfortunately can only use armament hockey. Naruto explained. Mother will not be happy at her having access to our ability, you know, Akane told him. What do you want me to do? She can't help how her powers work, so. Back off, Naruto said as he turned to glare at his sister. Fine. Prove to me you're not weak and I may see you as more than my brother's pet, Akane said looking at Rogue. Pet? Girl, I will drain you till you're a husk. Rogue yelled, stepping up to Akane and getting in her face. That I like her. Okay, let's do this, Akane said with a grin at Rouge's response before she went to jump over to the demon office building where Electra was just finishing up. Huh? Rogue asked Naruto, confused at this response. You just won the approval of my sister apparently. Naruto deadpanned before the group leapt onto the building where Electra sat on the 2 knocked out demons waiting for them. Come on. We should get down into the offices before they come check on their friends, Electra said simply as she stood up and opened the door which everyone entered through. Offices. Laura led everyone down the stairs, her in the front due to her enhanced smell until they stopped at a door. All 12 are on the other side. But there's more sense than just them. Not only that I smell BLD, Laura said seriously. BLD? Hostages maybe? Naruto asked seriously. We won't know until we get in there, Electra said twirling her sais. Naruto nodded as he peeked through the door and activated his observation hockey to get a sense of what was going on. 12 demons. 6 with swords, 4 with guns, 2 with whips. 5 hostages. All restrained. 1 heavily cut up by sword wounds. An OSHT. There's a bomb, Naruto said seriously as he saw a bomb set on a cubicle desk. Any plan? Rogue asked as she readied herself. The hostages are our first priority. One of us needs to free them. One of us needs to disable the bomb. The rest need to take out the guards before they can call for backup or set it to blow, Naruto said. I'll disarm the bomb. Elektra offered. Good. I'll free the hostages. Can you three take out the guards? Naruto asked. Please, Akane said as she switched to her half-divine wolf form and readied her mace. Ely, make them choke on their BLD, Laura said, bringing out her claws and cracking her neck. We got this, Shuga, Rogue said, smirking. Alright. Let's go, Naruto said before the five burst into the office space. Immediately Rogue launched herself at the four guards with guns and started to pummel them. While this happened, Naruto ran over to the hostages and started to rip apart their bindings with his armament hockey-coated hands. As he did this, four sword-wielding demons rushed at him, intending to impale him, only for Laura to leap at one and impale her claws into his ribs. Stay away from him. She growled out before extending her foot claw and kicked at the man's arm, slicing his hand off as she grabbed his sword before removing her claws from the man's ribs and catching the sword's handle. She then threw it into another demon, impaling him through the knee. I'm calling that one, sis, Akane said with a grin as she slashed at a demon holding twin whips with her claws, destroying his WHP and sending him slamming into a wall before ducking under a WHP strike from another demon. Whips, really? Couldn't afford a sword like them? Akane asked, gesturing to the two other demons beside him holding blades. Your trash talk needs work, sis. How's the bomb disarming going, Elektra? Naruto asked as he was on the third hostage and ripped off her bindings with his hockey. Almost got it there. Bombs disabled, she shouted before pulling off her sais and leaping at a demon Rogue was fighting and stabbed him in his back with her sais, sending him to the floor as she dropped his gun before she kicked it into the face of another gun-toting demon. Nice job, sister-in-law, Akane said as she grabbed the WHP-wielding demon she was fighting and started to strangle him with his own whips thanks to her hockey-covered hands while standing over his two knocked-out friends as one by one he was the only conscious demon left. I can make her stop if you tell me who your boss is, Naruto said as he approached the guy his sister was choking. I will never talk, the man gagged out as the others approached him. I see. Break his leg, sis, Naruto ordered. Too nice, Akane said with a savage grin before she stomped hard between the demon's legs. Oh God! The demon yelled out in a falsetto pitch. I said leg, not PP. Naruto yelled, covering his own groin at seeing the hit. Hit him again there. Elektra ordered with a smirk. Stomp, cue demon screaming. Again. Elektra yelled, laughing. Stomp, the pain, the demon yelled. Ready to talk? Elektra asked, kneeling in front of the man and looking at him in his masked eyes. I'm not afraid of some jailbait dog girl or a ninja, HKR, the demon told them defiantly. Jailbait? Akane yelled as she went back into her half-divine wolf form. HKR. Elektra yelled with a glare as she brought out her sais. Via con Dios, Lyra said with a smirk as she did a prayer motion for the demon. You may want to talk, dude. Even I won't be able to hold them back from killing you, Naruto said with a wince. Then kill me. There are things far worse than death. The demon said. You want to die that bad? Elektra asked, pointing her sai at his throat only to look in shock as the man quickly grabbed her wrist and impaled himself on her sai, the blade going through his neck. Okay, whoever is in charge of these guys is next level, Rogue said, wide-eyed at what she had just seen. Yuri's gonna have a field day with this one, Naruto sighed looking at the corpse. He didn't like how this guy seemed to think there was no other option but death. Pathetic weakling. Choosing the coward's way out instead of fighting till the end or accepting his defeat. Disgraceful, Akane spoke with a scoff while Elektra cleaned her sais of the BLD. Well, we didn't get info on their leader, but we did save some hostages and disarmed a bomb. And even then only one died, Laura said as she looked at the unconscious demons and freed hostages. It's still a needless death. A waste of the precious gift we are all given, Naruto said as he looked at the corpse. You feel pity for one who chose death? Elektra asked curiously as she sheathed her sais. He was scared of whoever he worked for. I don't pity his end. I pity the loss of his freedom that made him choose this option. Naruto said as he closed his eyes in a silent prayer. Akane raised an eyebrow at this before she sighed and did her own prayer. Prayer. You two don't strike me as the religious type, Rogue admitted. We're not. This is a thing from our village. A wish for their next life to be better than what they had before. Akane explained as she ended her prayer as Naruto stood up. Let's go report this, Naruto said as he turned away and headed for the door as he heard sirens approaching. Rooftop. Naruto looked down as the paramedics and cops arrived on the scene. Watching as the ambulance loaded up the corpse while the cops took the statements of the witnesses. He had spoken to Yuri once she arrived to explain the situation that occurred. While she was unhappy about the death, she couldn't fault them. Especially with the witnesses providing testimony. It's not your fault, you know, Elektra told him as she placed a hand on his shoulder. I know. He chose to do so. Doesn't mean I can't be upset about what occurred, Naruto said firmly. You really are a good man, Naruto Uzumaki. Never let yourself change. It's your best quality. Elektra said with a small smile on her lips before kissing him on the cheek. Making Rogue and Laura narrow their eyes at the assassin. Naruto blushed a bit at this before his phone went off. Hello? Naruto asked into the phone. Whiskers, we have an issue. The whole team is needed. We're coming to pick you up in the Quinjet. Janet and Hank ran into something serious by the observatory when they went to help their friend Carol. Something alien. Tony informed him. Alien? Like outer space alien? Oh god, it's a xenomorph, isn't it? Quick, we need Ellen Ripley. Naruto yelled, panicking. Stop hanging out with Wade, you're getting more stupid, kid, Tony deadpanned. F you, it's a classic. Alright, Akane and I are in Midtown, we're with some allies. You want me to bring them? Naruto asked. Is that ninja chick you got photographed tonguing there? Tony asked with a teasing grin. Do you want the help or not? Naruto yelled into the phone. Bring any help you want besides the ninja. Janet isn't exactly in a good mood to see women that have a thing for you, Tony ordered. Oh, for fine, oh great and wise leader. We'll wait on the rooftop for you. Joy boy out, Naruto said, hanging up the phone. So who wants to fight aliens? Naruto asked. Sadly, I have an appointment with Murdoch. He has some info I need, so I'll need to pass, Elektra said as she shook her head. Your ex? What would he have for you? Naruto asked curiously. Are you jealous? Elektra asked with a smirk. No. Genuinely curious. We aren't dating and you're your own person. I just don't know what help he'd have. He's just a blind lawyer, Naruto said simply. Just breed already, you two. You both clearly want to, Akane said with an eye roll at her brother and Elektra. Just for that no bacon burger on the way to meet the team, Naruto said as he ignored his sister growling at him. Matt has some info on some of Fisk's old employees. I'm cross-referencing them for any hand info and contacts. I'll see you later, handsome, Elektra said before backflipping off the roof as Rogue and Laura narrowed their eyes in fierce glare. I believe your two concubines are enraged, brother, Akane deadpanned, seeing this as the Quinjet pulled up to them. Iron Man flying beside it with Thor. So you don't bring the ninja, but you bring two other women who have a thing for you? Tony deadpanned. Shut up or I'm telling Pepper about that incident with Miss July, Naruto warned him as he jumped onto the Quinjet with Rogue, Laura, and Akane. That was Miss September, not July, ASHT. Will 100 grand buy your silence? Tony asked. No, now let's go save our teammates from the xenomorph, Naruto said as the jet took off. Hospital. The Avengers and company landed at a medical facility to meet up with Hank and Janet along with a blue-skinned alien man that had apparently been Janet's friend's boss in a human disguise. Currently Janet was beside Carol's hospital bed as the others looked at the alien man waiting for an explanation. "So you just gonna stare at the glass or you gonna talk about what you're here for? If you want us to take you to our leader, he's a man named Norman Osborn, so go nuts. Hell, I got a list of leaders you can abduct if you want," Naruto told the alien. "What kind of savage do you think I am?" the alien asked, looking at Naruto. "The kind who hides among us and knows about the giant murder bot that attacked his friends. So please start talking," Naruto told him with a firm glare. "Yeah, or you can go to our human resources office," Tony said as he pointed at Akane, who held her mace at the ready. "My name is Marvel. I'm what you'd call a captain in the science division of the Kree Navy," the now named Marvel started to explain. "I don't like him," Hulk grunted out. "You don't like anybody," Hank pointed out, looking at the Hulk. "Not true. He likes me and Akane," Naruto said as he smiled. Hank rolled his eyes before looking at Marvel. "Please go on." The Kree?" he questioned. "The Kree are one of the galaxy's most ancient civilizations. One of the superpowers. We're at war with another one, the Skrulls. Both empires are looking for strategic footholds to fight the war, as well as resources. Your solar system is in a strategically desirable location," Marvel explained. "So our home is free real estate to you?" Akane growled as she stepped forward before Naruto grabbed her shoulder, stopping her. "Calm your sister down, Joy Boy. Continue, Marvel." "What about the robot?" Hank questioned. "The Kree sent out a sentry drone to defang any natives, to eliminate long-range detection, any spacefaring capability, and to eliminate all potential threats." Marvel explained. "Huh. Wonder why Egghead didn't intercept it," Naruto mused under his breath as Akane looked at her brother at this. It was strange that Egghead hadn't picked up on the robot entering the atmosphere. "But the robot was destroyed," Hank pointed out. "No, it wasn't. Kree sentries can't be stopped. If a Kree drone sees that a planet's population is going to be a problem, it's designed with the capability to eliminate the problem." Marvel explained. "Eliminate? What do you mean?" Janet asked as she came out from Carol's hospital room. Hey Janet," Naruto said with a nervous smile as he waved at Janet. Janet glared at Naruto before she looked at Rouge and Laura, who were standing nearby. Each sentry is equipped with a Niga bomb. A device designed to exterminate an entire troublesome species on a targeted planet. And given the fight you put up against it, I'd say you have an hour before it goes off and you experience the Niga bomb firsthand, Marvel told them seriously. Everyone was silent at this before. Akane swung her mace at Marvel and slammed him into a wall, pinning him against it as the other Avengers readied their weapons and/or fists. Including Rogue and Laura. "Give me one good reason not to rip out your throat," Akane growled as she slowly turned into her whole divine wolf form and started to spark with electricity, causing her mace to shock Marvel. "Calm down. Let's all remember Captain Marvel here saved Carol's life and yours, Jan," Hank said, looking at Janet with a firm look. "Bite me, pacifist. I don't take orders from you." Akane growled out. "Akane, stand down. Save it for the enemy," Naruto ordered. "He is the enemy. He's an alien spy, Naruto. And his people are trying to wipe out our planet," Janet said as she glared at Marvel. "Look, as much as it physically pains me to agree with Hank on anything, he's probably our only chance at stopping this thing." Naruto admitted getting a glare from Hank for the insult. "F that. I say we call Ajisen on Egghead. Him and his satellites will have a solution within 10 minutes. Akane yelled, baring her fangs. "While I would love to, you know he's busy with his experiments, so he won't answer even for this. And we don't have the time to fly to Egghead if it'll blow in an hour. We're on our own here," Naruto said. "Satellites?" Tony asked, raising an eyebrow at this. Not what you think, long story will explain when the world isn't about to be Alderaan, Naruto said. Are fine. You're on notice blue boy, Akane said as she removed her mace letting Marvel fall to the ground before she switched to her human form. Marvel, what do you want? Hank asked. I want to help. I'm a scientist, a xenobiologist. I'd heard rumors of a genetic anomaly on Earth and came to investigate. I've been studying you for 3 years, Marvel said. Studying us? Charming. Tony said sarcastically. Humanity seems different from most civilizations we conquer. Humans have potential, Marvel admitted looking at Carol in her hospital bed. She should be allowed to survive, he said. Don't you mean they? Tony asked. Oh, for F's sake, you're just a sap on A's quest, Akane said with a scoff at this. Stay classy sis, Naruto said with a groan at his sister. Your tale rings false, Kree. You claim to be here to study humanity but were at the observatory when it was attacked. You are in league with the machine, Thor told him holding up his hammer. No. I knew the observatory would be a target. I was trying to cloak the facility, to keep the Kree from detecting it. I failed, Marvel said looking down in shame before looking at them, but there's still time to save your species. Please, let me help you, Marvel begged. If he does anything suspicious, Akane go feral on him, Janet told her, still not trusting the Kree scientist. Your bug CNCBN finally has my approval, brother, Akane said with a vicious grin at the order. Yay, Naruto said with a deadpan tone as Rogue and Laura scowled a little before the group all left. With the Kree sentry. The sentry walked down a roadway, nearly stomping on a truck driving by before it came to a lodge with a large drive-in theater. The Avengers arrived on the scene just as the giant bot was in front of the large outdoor screen. Hulk used this opportunity to leap onto the head of the sentry and started to PND on its head with his ferocious strength. We need to open it up and expose the Niga bomb core before it completes charging. That will deactivate it. Marvel explained. Easier said than done, I take it, Hank said riding on Mar's shoulder. I enjoy your species gift for understatement, Marvel said. Can you two probe each other later and fight the DMN robot now? Akane asked as she readied her mace as Hulk suddenly got blasted by the robot. I'm ahead of you SQR, hey Tin Man. Go back to Oz. Rouge yelled as she stepped forward as her arms were covered in armament hockey before she slammed them into the robot's chest. Puncturing through and making a hole only for her eyes to widen as the holes suddenly mended and recovered. It heals. She yelled in shock. Of course it does, Laura growled as she jumped onto its back and started to claw at it. Jabbing her claws into its back over and over to try and wear it down only for it to grow several tentacles and grab her before throwing her into a flying Thor, sending them both to the ground. You'll pay for that, you scrap heap. Naruto yelled as he leapt on top of the robot and started sending hockey-coated punches into its head. I'll break you apart. He yelled as he sent a flurry of fists into the machine while Tony started sending laser blasts at the robot hoping to damage it. I got your back, Shuga. Rouge yelled as she ran at the robot and started to slug at the robot and ripping holes into it thanks to her hockey-infused punches. But when she ripped the hole bigger, what looked like a massive amount of energy was charging. Oh, that ain't goo dash, she was saying as she immediately held her hockey-coated arms up in front of her face before she was suddenly blasted by a giant beam of cosmic energy sending her flying away from the robot. Rogue! Naruto yelled in a panic as he stopped his assault and leapt towards her to check on her. Ugh, Rogue groaned as her body smoked from the attack. Marvel quickly ran over and checked on Rouge just as Naruto arrived. She's alive, she's lucky though. That much cosmic energy point blank would kill even a Kree admiral. Hockey comes in handy, she groaned out with a smirk at Naruto before falling forwards unconscious. That's it, Naruto growled as his conqueror's hockey started to spark off of him in his fury. The robot looked down at Naruto for a few moments before he turned around ignoring him. You hurt my friends, threaten my planet, nearly kill someone dear to me, Naruto spoke up as he took step after step towards the Kree machine before he ran at the robot and threw his fist back which stretched far back and turned back as he covered it in haki. Gum gum Red Hawk. Naruto yelled as he threw his fist as hard and fast as he could towards the robot. It lighting with flames. When the fist slammed into the robot, the force of the punch caused the back of the robot to explode from the force as fire flew out of it while a hole was left from where Naruto's punch landed. Whoa, Janet said wide-eyed as she had seen this move before but never that powerful from Naruto. His strength is increasing faster, Akane muttered impressed with her brother's growing power. Janet. Get in there and demolish it. Take it down from the inside. I'll blow as many holes in this thing as you need, Naruto yelled before seeing the robot starting to repair again, not this time you're about to be terminated. Naruto yelled before sending another Red Hawk into the machine smashing even more of it in his fury. Janet quickly flew into the hole as it started to reseal before flashes of yellow light started to appear in the robot before the hole sealed up. Soon the robot suddenly sparked up and its head fell forward signifying it was shut down. Your race is impressive but they can't stand up to us, Akane said with a grin at this before she slammed the head of the robot with her mace. Okay Janet you can come out, Naruto said as he took a few breaths, seriously come on out please, Naruto said only getting silence again, no. I'm not losing her Dmn. Take me instead but not her, as he ran at the robot and started to rip it apart with his bare hands revealing a shocked still Janet. Sitting on a giant green orb. The robot healed my way out before it was disabled, Janet said as she lightly blushed at what Naruto said. Oh good to see you okay? Naruto asked rather than said. Will you two just kiss already? Hulk groaned out tired of the will they won't they bullshit. Is that the bomb? Hank asked with a small scowl at Naruto and Hulk. Marvel nodded as gently approached the bomb only for a giant beam of light to fire up revealing a giant holographic head of a Kree alien. Incoming message from the big giant head, Akane said with a monotone like she was a SLV or a drone. All hail the giant head, Janet responded similarly before snickering as she recognized what Akane was referencing. Marvel what are, by Hala, the giant head yelled in shock. Yan Rog, Commander. I implore you. Shut down the Niga bomb. Humanity can be an ally to the Kree. We need not destroy them, Mar begged with a salute to the giant head. You've gone soft Marvel. As of now Earth is part of the Kree Empire. That does not require humanity or you to survive. Burn traitor, Yan Rog told him seriously. Try and take it as, Naruto said as he stepped forward with a glare at Yan Rog. Whiskers dash, Tony was saying. Save it rich boy, Akane said with a glare. And who are you? Yan Rog demanded. Naruto Uzumaki of Earth and I'm the one who beat the hell out of your robot and quite frankly my home can build a better robot, Naruto said with a smirk. All the more reason for us to destroy you now. Save your begging and pleading. They will do you no good here, Yan Rog told him. Begging? Gahahahaha. Naruto asked before he started to laugh madly. Oh that's the best. Akane yelled as she also laughed at this. You waste my time human. Begone from my sight with the rest of your world, Yan Rog ordered. Oh please we will deal with your bomb and then when you morons show up we will be ready for you. And I'm gonna enjoy planting a giant foot so far up whatever constitutes your as that you'll be coughing up odor eaters, Naruto told him with a glare. Yeah you think your army can step up to the great nation of Yamatora? Then let's see it. Akane yelled as she raised her mace. Enough of this. Burn away from this galaxy. Yan Rog yelled as his hologram cut off and the bomb started to spark purple as Janet flew off the bomb. Marvel quickly grabbed the Niga bomb, I am sorry. I have only brought pain and misery since arriving here. I cannot disarm it in time. Goodbye, Marvel said as he grabbed the bomb and flew into the sky followed by Space holding the bomb. Well SHT I wasn't expecting the sacrifice play, Naruto admitted looking up. A worthy death for him. Unfortunate, but it is a sacrifice that needs to be done, Laura said. I hope you realize you and your brother talking trash will probably cause problems later, Hank said as he looked at Akane with an annoyed look. You act as if our survival alone wouldn't already do that, Hank, Naruto said as he rolled his eyes. Plus I can just tell the old man what's going on and he can go and show them some real high-tech warfare, Akane said with a smirk as Tony and Thor flew after Marvel and helped deal with the bomb and saving him from his near sacrifice as the bomb exploded in the vacuum of space. Hospital. Rogue and Carol both laid in the hospital beds as Naruto and Janet were checking on them. I would have woken before I hit the ground. I did not need you to catch me, Thor grumbled out. OSCK it up Goldilocks, Akane said with an eye roll. Wimp, Hulk said with a smirk nudging Thor as Tony snickered before he turned to Marvel. Okay, world saved. Mission accomplished, Tony said. No. The Kree will be back. And they won't underestimate the Avengers again. Thanks to them talking trash, Hank said as he gave Akane a look since Naruto was in the room with Janet. Oh, go choke on a sandpaper PP old man, Akane said flipping off Hank. No more Vivzy pop for you sis, Naruto said exiting the room as he sighed hearing this while the other Avengers all sputtered at her language. F off. Akane said scoffing at this. So what now? Naruto asked turning to Marvel. Now I go to the Supreme Intelligence, our leader, and make an appeal for Earth's survival, Marvel explained as he started to walk away. That's his name? Seriously? Naruto asked after a great moment of silence. Maybe he's compensating for something, Akane said with a snicker. You are incorrigible young lady, Steve said as he sighed at this. You should all prepare for the storm that's coming, Marvel told them before vanishing in a flash of light. You guys can head back. I think Janet and I are gonna stay here for a while, Naruto said looking at Rogue unconscious in bed while Janet was watching over Carol. That's fine Whiskers come on pint size, Tony said as he grabbed Akane and dragged her away. Don't touch me you fat, lazy, drunk, Akane told him. Fat? I'm in great shape. Tony yelled at this clearly annoyed. You do look like you put on a few pounds my friend, Thor said as everyone followed after. Naruto chuckled at this as the team left before he went silent as Janet was looking at him, about what happened with the robot dash, Naruto was saying before Janet held up a hand. It's fine Naruto. I understand. I'm tired of this. The arguing. Not talking about whether we want to be together or not. Janet admitted. Well, it was my fault for not telling you about the whole HRM privilege. Thing is I just didn't want you to think I was some perv looking to make a collection. Naruto said as he frowned. I know. I should have realized it sooner. I was just angry at it being kept from me and lashed out at you. Which I shouldn't have. You have no control over who you fall for, right? Janet asked with a small smile. Definitely not, so what are we? And what about Hank? Naruto asked hopefully. Janet chuckled at this as she grabbed his hand and squeezed it. Me and you are gonna try this at least and see how it goes. If it works out then great, and if not then we move on and say we tried. As for Hank, he loves his science more and pushed me away. If he has a problem with it it's his own fault, Janet told him firmly before she smiled. Naruto smiled back at this as he was happy to hear this as the two gazed in each other's eyes before they started to move their faces closer to each other. Guys? Rogue said getting their attention, getting them to separate. Oh, thank God you're okay. Naruto asked as he turned to look at Rouge before he saw that his mutant friend was floating 4 feet above her covers. Why's the ceiling so low? She asked as she tried not to freak out. I'm with her on this, Carol asked as she was in the exact same position as Rogue. Both floating over the beds. This day cannot get any more crazy, Naruto said with a deadpan tone. Breaking news report. A bombing at City Hall in New York City at Mayor Norman Osborn's campaign rally awarding police officer Jefferson Davis has ended in numerous deaths at the hands of the gang known as the Demons. Jefferson Davis himself was amongst the casualties. Numerous injured and dead as we bring you to live footage of the carnage. The news reporter on the TV in the hospital room said as cameras showed the massive amounts of smoke and destruction. "Oh mother F dash," Naruto was yelling as he saw the news report of the officer as Peter had told him about him and how he was one of the good ones and was helping him with the demons and locating some of Fisk's missing assets for the cops. One day later. Baxter Building. After Rogue and Carol were discharged from the hospital, the two were being looked over by Sue at the Baxter Building. "This is fascinating. They are both surging with cosmic energy. Especially Rogue," Sue said, looking at the two as they destroyed some simple flying targets while she, Naruto, Akane, Jennifer, Laura, Ororo, and Logan watched the two practice with their new abilities. "So what I'm hearing is I can up the Goth's training," Logan said with a smirk as he drank a beer as he watched. "Where'd you get a beer?" Naruto asked, genuinely curious. "Johnny's fridge," Logan answered simply. "He let you have one?" Jennifer asked with a raised eyebrow. "Let me?" "No," Logan said as he shook his head. "Hey, pass me one of those," Akane said with a smile. Naruto and Ororo quickly gave Logan looks at this. "I wasn't gonna," he said with a scoff as he finished his beer. "She needs schooling so she can learn to not be such a unruly child," Ororo told Naruto. "I suggest boot camp," Logan said as he opened a new beer. "I can get her into Brooklyn Visions with a phone call if you want," Sue said to Naruto. "Seriously?" Naruto asked, surprised at the offer. "Reed did a few presentations there before his end. The principal there could easily let your sister in if I give her a good recommendation. Plus the publicity of her being there could give them some more media popularity," Sue explained with a frown at mentioning Reed's death before shaking her head and smiling at the reasoning for why Akane would be able to be enrolled. "Oi! Don't I get a say in this?" Akane yelled, hearing this. "No you don't. Sue, make the call and send me the information later," Naruto said as he smiled at Sue. "You'll regret this, brother. I will make you suffer." Akane growled. "I'm surprised. I would have gone with my father's suggestion truthfully," Laura said. "Are you kidding? She would have the guys there screaming for mercy within a weekend. At least here she can learn and maybe make some friends," Naruto said before his Avengers card started to beep. "One day. Just one day I'd like for there not to be some crazy emergency," Naruto groaned as he opened his phone. "Hey, Whiskers need help with Legolas, so bring your sister and her mace," Tony said with an audible smile. "Alright, you heard him, Gimli. Let's go," Naruto said as he smiled at his sister. You know I'm Thorin." Akane growled. "So she will die after hoarding gold after someone else kills the bad guy?" Johnny asked as he entered the room with Ben. Before he ducked, avoiding Akane's thrown mace. "F off, Firecrotch!" Akane yelled. "Hey, watch it, you little terror. I just came to see who swiped my beer," Johnny yelled at Akane. "He did it," Logan said, pointing at Naruto while holding a beer. "I would believe you if you didn't have my beer in your hand, Logan," Johnny said with a flat tone. "I figured it was worth a try," Logan said with a shrug. "How much do I owe you?" Logan asked. $30, Johnny told him. "Are you kidding me? For this pisswater?" Logan yelled. "Okay sis, let's go," Naruto said as he grabbed his sis by the back of her shirt and dragged her towards the door. "Oh come on, I want to see the fight." "My money's on the honey badger," Akane said as she was brought out of the room while Jennifer just laughed at the chaos. Helicarrier. Naruto, Akane, Tony, Steve, and Chala watched as Hawkeye was being chewed out by Fury for sticking himself in a shield operation. Apparently by the time they arrived, Clint had chased off AIM and Hydra with his stunt. "The last thing I need is you sticking your nose in a shield operation. If I recall correctly, you quit," Fury yelled in Hawkeye's face with a glare. "Yeah, after you guys got played by the redhead," Akane muttered under her breath. "What was that?" Fury asked, turning to Akane. I said your hearing is as bad as your depth perception. One eye, Akane told him, uncaring of insulting him. Joy boy, I like your sister. Clint said with a smirk. Oh, look at that, Akane, you finally made a friend, Naruto said with a smirk. We have the Hydra situation under control. Or we did until you showed up, Fury said, turning back towards Clint. $20 says he has a mole, Akane whispered to Naruto, who made a killing gesture under his neck, making her quiet down. Under control? Is that a joke? If you've got things under control, where's the Black Widow? You're tapped into every phone, camera, and satellite on the planet and you still can't find her. Face it, Fury, Shield's dropping the ball big time, Clint told him. That or they are busy with other stuff of lesser importance. Like laundry or dry cleaning, Naruto said with a smirk. That or making the woman here look like night walkers. I mean, why all the spandex? Akane asked Maria Hill, who ignored her but her eyebrow was twitching. Back off, Barton. You should know better than anyone how resourceful the widow is. She was your partner, Fury told him, ignoring Naruto and Akane. Akane raised an eyebrow at this before her eyes narrowed at this. You think I forgot? Clint asked, glaring at the director. Leave Widow and Hydra to S.H.I.E.L.D. If you Avengers want to go after supervillains, that's fine. But Hydra is too complicated. You can't just take them on one at a time. Cut off one head. Two more take its place. That's why I say use a nuke, Akane said with a grin. And you're done, Naruto said as he covered her mouth with a nervous chuckle as everyone looked at them. I'm horrified to say so, but I have to agree with Fury on this one, Tony said as he took a step forward. You what? Naruto asked, genuinely baffled by Tony's admission. You've got to be kidding me, Stark, Clint said as he looked at the armored Avenger. Look, the Black Widow betrayed you. She sold you out. I get it. I've been there. But Hydra is a quagmire. If the Avengers go in, we'll just make things worse. Tony told them. Really? They teach you that in business school? Clint asked with an icy glare. Sigh, ignoring that. Look, we've got our hands full with the breakout. You have to look at the big picture. Not get caught up in revenge. Let it go, Clint, Tony told him. You need me to save the world. Fine, I'll be there. But I don't need S.H.I.E.L.D. for this. Or the Avengers. I'll find Widow on my own, Clint said as he brushed past Tony before walking out of the room. Well, at least he didn't punch anyone, Tony said with a sigh. Steve and Chala looked at each other before nodding and moving to follow. Naruto, seeing this, moved to follow them. Wait, can I punch Captain One Eye then? Akane asked. Will you move? Naruto yelled as he grabbed his sister and dragged her off. That girl is gonna be the death of me, Tony said with a groan. I do believe Joy Boy is putting her in school, so you will be getting a break, Stark, Fury said as she shook his head. Oh, thank God, Tony sighed in relief as he made a note to buy Naruto something nice. Hallway. Clint started to walk down the hall of the helicarrier with a frown on his face. Hawkeye. Wait, Steve said as he and Chala approached him from behind, making him turn around. Oh, now you talk. Thanks for backing me up in their team, Clint told them angrily. You're letting revenge blind you, Steve told him. I can't believe you of all people are telling me not to go after Hydra, Clint said angrily. You think that's what I'm telling you? What I'm saying is if you take on Hydra like this alone you won't come back, Steve told him. I know how isolating mistrust is. I know that some battles must be fought alone. But it does not hurt to have backup, Chala told him. And me and Akane, well, we're not gonna let you throw your life away, especially seeing as you have a family, Naruto said as he and Akane approached. Wait, he has a family? I thought he was a homeless carny. Stark took a liking to, Kane asked, raising an eyebrow at this. Your sister is now on my list, Joy Boy, Clint said as his eyebrow twitched. Also would have killed you for to say any of this in there? Clint asked. I don't know if we weren't together for so long I'd have assumed the homeless carny thing myself, a female voice said from behind Hawkeye, making him turn to see a woman in a large black mask with long brown hair and a black and white singlet-like outfit with long black sleeves as Clint looked at her in shock. Laura? Clint asked in shock. You know her? Steve asked. She's my wife, Clint said. That's your wife? Naruto asked, his eyes widening in surprise at this. How did a worthless archer like you manage to snag a beauty like her? Akane asked. How did your brother get with Janet? Clint asked, raising an eyebrow at this. Ha! Got me there, Legolas. I still fluctuate on respecting her like your other concubine's brother, Akane said with a snicker. Can we not talk about my love life for just 5 minutes or something? Naruto asked with a groan at his sister. What are you doing here, Laura? I thought you retired, Clint asked, genuinely confused on why she was there. Fury got me a job back replacing your old position after your lockup. We needed some income for the kids after all. Not exactly a lot of career options for former S.H.I.E.L.D. agents after all. Upside, no shortage of sitters for them doing this, Laura explained with a sigh. Sorry. My carelessness and trust got me betrayed by Nat. God knows what she's up to now, Clint apologized to his wife. Truly sorry for what had happened. Well, we're gonna find out, Naruto said as he looked at Clint with a determined gaze. I'm in as well, Laura said, getting a surprised look from Clint. What? She had my DMN husband locked up and betrayed our organization. I want some payback, Laura said. Yeah, let's cut the domestic drama CRP. I have skulls I want to crush into paste, Akane said, hefting her mace. Well, get your fun in now, cause once you're in school you'll be helping less on patrols until your homework is done, Naruto told her. I'll kill you. Akane growled at her. Brother. When you two are done with your sibling squabble, meet us as the Quinjet, Clint said as the others walked off. Akane stopped her growling as soon as they left before turning to her brother. Helping someone get revenge is unlike you, brother. Do you have another reason for coming along? Akane asked. He's a friend and teammate, and I feel if he gets closure on this he will be a better hero, Naruto said simply. Oh. Is that your only reason, or maybe you have an idea on a mole in Hydra? Akane said, recalling his earlier stopping her from saying such in front of Fury. I have no idea what you're referring to, Naruto said as he started to walk away. Sure, Akane said with a scoff as she followed her brother. Quinjet. An hour later. I have the signal, Chala said, piloting the Quinjet through the night sky. Signal? Laura questioned. I placed a tracker on Grim Reaper when I was sticking my nose in S.H.I.E.L.D. business, Clint said, smirking at his wife. Fury's gonna be pissed, Laura said with a giggle. Is the badass Agent 19 afraid of Fury now? Clint asked. That codename was too boring. I go by Mockingbird now, Laura told her husband. That reminds me, I need a codename, Akane admitted. You have been doing this for a few months now and realized that just now? Chala asked curiously. To be honest, I don't really see the need for them considering the Avengers are globally known in and out of costume. However, I suppose a name to strike fear into my foes is good enough, Akane admitted. We need to get you a hobby. Like soon, Naruto said with a deadpan tone. Alright, so who's tagging along for a Reaper beatdown? Clint asked. Reaper? Count me in, Akane said as she smiled. Hang on. Akane, maybe you should hang back on this 1-inch, Naruto said. So you can hog the glory, brother? No way. I want to bust up some idiots, Akane told him. No, hang on. If we attack Reaper and beat him down, we just bring Hydra to us. What we want is us to find Hydra's base though. That way we can go after the top brass. What if we have myself and Clint get captured by them? We let them take us and you use your observation hockey to track us down to their base, Naruto suggested. Since when can you formulate plans? Akane asked after a few moments of silence. I can plan DMN it. I just prefer punching. Shikamaru and Gaara were always better for tactical plans. Naruto yelled at his sister, annoyed. You sure you're willing to risk it, son? Steve asked. Yes. I'm probably worth more to Hydra for interrogation than most other Avengers given my village secrets and my powers. Akane might still be too unknown to them, Naruto. That and she's still your little sister, Chalice said with a knowing tone as he had a little sister too and could relate. Nah. I know she can take care of herself in this scenario. I'd feel worse for the Hydra forces if she goes down there though. None will survive, Naruto said with a smirk. If you survive their interrogation I will break your kneecaps for your teasing brother, Akane said with a scowl. Good luck with that. RBB, remember? Naruto cackled. I'll join you both as well. 2 Avengers and a SHIELD agent would be too tempting for them as a prize, Laura said seriously. Works for me. Just don't you two sneak off for some alone time while I'm getting shot at by Hydra, Naruto said with a snicker. I know you're not giving me CRP about relationships, mister. I have a HRM of women, Clint said with a deadpan tone. Oi. Only Janet is official. Naruto yelled. Yeah, until I message Ka-san, Akane said with a snicker. Please don't, Naruto pleaded as he slightly paled. Shipping me off to school has a price. One you shall pay deeply, Akane said firmly. I'm F, aren't I? Naruto asked the others. Oh yeah, you are. Just like if your Asgardian stalker has her way and ties you to your bed, Clint said with a smirk. Hydra base. The plan to be captured by Reaper went well. The 3 put up a fight before they were overwhelmed by Hydra's forces until they were brought to a hidden base on the open water. Unknowing that Akane was using her observation haki to track them as the Avengers followed their ship. The 3 bound Avengers were in the throne room standing in front of the throne where Strucker was sitting. I have made contact with the Yashida clan in Japan. Run by a man named Gorgon, a woman in green was saying to Strucker as he sat on his throne. This was Madame Hydra. And? Strucker asked. He's offering a very hefty reward for the Prince of Yamatora village since the original leader the Silver Samurai was defeated by him, Madame Hydra said looking at Naruto. They are still sour about that guy. Man, even the Yakuza would let this SHT go by now, Naruto said with a roll of his eyes. I have begun talks with Count Nefaria and his Magia. As well as the industrialist Alexander Lukin. Both are eager to keep peace with Hydra along with most of Russia's underworld, Natasha said announcing her presence as she walked up the steps toward Strucker. Perfect timing, Red, Naruto said with a smile. You captured Joy Boy? Natasha asked Reaper. Indeed I did. Why? Reaper asked, not seeing the problem. Because he's the most unpredictable of the Avengers. Why would he throw himself at Hydra just to be captured? Natasha asked as she glared at Reaper. Indeed, why would I? Naruto asked as his grin got bigger as he felt something with his observation haki. Before anyone could respond, the roof above them exploded as Akane in her full divine wolf form dropped through the ceiling. About time, sis. My arms were getting cramped, Naruto said with a smirk as he used his armament haki to break out of his energy cuffs. Call me Okami while on the job. Akane yelled before she barked as she bit down on one of the Hydra agents and jerked her head, throwing him across the room just as Steve and Chala dropped down. Could have waited for us, young lady, Steve said, throwing his shield at Reaper, who leapt away from the flying frisbee. How did you find our base? You don't have technology to get through our jamming frequencies, Reaper questioned. Can't fool my hockey crypt keeper. Once you had my brother I could easily find him, Akane said as she removed Clint and Laura's bindings. Fool, Natasha said to Reaper as she readied her widow's bite on Clint. I've been looking forward to this Nat payback time, Clint told her with a scowl. I owe you for getting my husband locked up, you be, Laura said with a scowl of her own as she pulled out twin metal batons. Okay, who wants to see how long they can last? Naruto asked the surrounding Hydra agents as he went into gear 2. Attack! Strucker ordered as his soldiers started to fire on the assembled heroes. Blasting energy bolts at them. Reaper slashed at Akane with his scythe as she made her way towards him, making her jump back. "You're too green to take me on, BRT, go chase a cat," he said as he took another swing at her. Akane growled at this before she switched to her awakened half-divine wolf form and coated her mace with haki before blocking the slash, causing the blade to shatter. "Sorry about your cheap blade, but don't worry, I'll take the pieces and shove 'em up your ass," Akane growled out at Reaper. Reaper quickly threw a smoke bomb down and tried to make a escape through the smoke, but he didn't get far before Rakane pounced on him and slashed his face with her claws. "Gah! You little bee!" Reaper yelled as he held his bleeding face before Akane grabbed him and threw him hard, which caused him to slam into a wall, making a massive indent from the force of the throw. Several Hydra soldiers started to fire on Akane, only for Chala to cut them down with his claws, striking them down in quick succession. "I'll keep the soldiers off your tail. Reaper is yours," he told her, getting a smirk from the red-headed teen. "I owe you one, Prince of Wakanda," Akane told him before charging back at Reaper. Meanwhile, as Naruto was wailing on a horde of soldiers, he didn't notice as Madame Hydra snuck up behind him holding an energy pistol. "It'll be a shame to end such a cute man, but alas. You're becoming too much of a thorn to us," she said. Just as she was about to pull the trigger, however, a small green energy portal suddenly appeared in front of her. "Huh?" she questioned before she was suddenly blasted away by an explosion of green fire, sending her flying away. "With Yamura. You will not harm my beloved, you were," she growled out as the small portal she conjured next to her disappeared before she went back to watching Naruto beat up groups of Hydra soldiers. Back with Naruto. As Naruto swung his stretching leg and sent a group of Hydra agents flying, Naruto took note of Natasha moving Baron Strucker out the back door. He was not the only one to notice this, however. "Clint, get her!" Laura shouted as she slammed her batons into a Hydra soldier's face before diving behind some rubble to avoid laser fire. Clint grinned as he ran towards Natasha and Strucker before the two could close the doors behind them. "SHT, he'll get killed 2-on-1, he muttered before sprinting off to help the archer. Clint dove through the doors just as they were about to close. Naruto activated his armament haki before smashing his fist into the door, denting it. "Huh, solid. Guess I'll need to really try to break it down. Gum gum Gatling." Naruto yelled, sending his armament haki-coated fists into the door in a flurry of strikes. The door was soon punched off its hinges. He then ran after Clint and soon he caught up with him, Natasha, and Baron Strucker. "Not so fast," he yelled as he shot his arms forward, stretching them and grabbing the old man from behind. "What the?" Strucker yelled in shock. "Gum gum missile." Naruto yelled as he shot forward at the old man, only for Natasha to send her bladed heel into his arm, making him let go of the old man. "SHT. Naruto grunted out, holding his bleeding arm as he slid along the floor. "Impressive, widow. Do enjoy, boy, while I make Hawkeye here pay for the loss of Hydra Island," Strucker ordered as he grabbed Hawkeye by the throat with his red gauntlet-covered hand and started to cover him in a purple energy, making the archer scream in pain. "Clint!" Naruto yelled as he was about to rush in and tackle through the redhead, only for a throwing knife to be embedded into his stomach. "Gak." Naruto coughed up some BLD. "You don't have any idea what you're doing," Natasha said as she approached Naruto with a fresh knife. "Oh, I know plenty. Mole," Naruto said with a smirk as he whispered the last part in her ear. Natasha's eyes slightly widened at this before Naruto slammed his knee into her gut, sending her flying towards the Baron. "Get up, widow. He's an unruly child compared to your power," Strucker ordered. "You want to bet, old man? Let me show you what power really is," Naruto said as he glared as he activated his Conqueror's Haki. The red and black energy sparking off of him, directed completely and only at the Baron. Strucker froze at this, dropping Clint from his grasp as his hair slightly stood up. "Widow, a tactical retreat is in order," he stuttered. "What was that saying, Hydra? Cut off one head, two more grow." "Let's test that, old man," Naruto said, grinning maliciously as he ripped the knife in his stomach out as he walked towards the Baron. Natasha quickly threw a smoke bomb down, filling the hallway with smoke. Naruto moved to follow, but he paused as he saw Clint on the ground, SHT hang on old man. I gotcha, Naruto said as he picked up the unconscious archer and shouldered him back towards the others who were finishing off the Hydra goon squad. Clint! Laura yelled as she ran over to Naruto. He's alive though Widow and Strucker got away, Naruto said as he set Clint down before sitting down and holding his bleeding stomach. SHT Janet's gonna kill me for this one, Naruto groaned out. You got stabbed by the redhead? You have a weakness for red-haired women in spandex you idiot, Akane in her half-wolf form said as she approached while dragging the knocked-out Reaper behind her. Is he even alive sis? Naruto asked as he took note of the wounds on the Hydra agent as Akane threw him to the ground. Good question. Are you alive you sniveling fool? Akane asked kicking the downed man in his ribs. Reaper groaned in pain at this. Yes he's alive. Though his painful groaning in trying my patience. I may kill him, Akane grunted. Well we may have lost Strucker and Widow but we have Reaper and Madam Hydra. Chala said as he walked over. Wait who took her out? Naruto asked confused. Looks like friendly fire. She had burn wounds. Probably took a shot from some of the Hydra soldiers randomly firing at us, Steve said inspecting her. Huh. Well okay. Job's done. Who wants ramen? Anyone? Naruto asked. I want pizza. Meat lovers, Akane said firmly as what looked like SHIELD agents started to rappel down from the hole in the ceiling. You've all been ordered to speak with Director Fury for this incident, the agent told them. Yeah, what about ramen on pizza? Naruto asked Akane ignoring the agent. Is that a thing? Akane asked wide-eyed. We'll take a look online after we get chewed out by Old One-Eye, Naruto said with a shrug as they followed the SHIELD agents. Later back at Avengers Mansion. What were you all thinking? Tony yelled angrily at Naruto, Akane and Clint who had just returned. Well I was thinking my friend needed help and I wasn't gonna let him do it alone. Naruto said simply as he sat in a chair while Janet looked over his wounds which were bandaged up. You're lucky she didn't hit anything vital you dumbass, Janet told him with a frown. Sloppy for a assassin, Akane said as she gave her brother a look. She was in a rush to get Strucker out. She probably wanted me incapacitated so I wouldn't pursue at most. Killing me would have taken time they didn't have, Naruto explained. Before Tony could yell at them some more what looked like a door opened in mid-air before Shisui, Shizun, Gaara, and Itachi dropped out of the door. Prince Naruto. Princess Akane. Oh thank the gods you're around. Shisui yelled happily at seeing them. Intruders. Thor yelled as Devil Dinosaur got up and growled at them. A dinosaur? How fascinating, Gaara said as he looked at Devil Dinosaur with an emotionless face as sand started to come off his body. Hold it point break. Didi. They're from our village. Naruto yelled hoping to stop the attack from happening. If you were going to invite people from your village you should have let us know, Hank told them. This isn't a social call I'm afraid, Shizun said as she frowned. What's wrong miss? Steve asked. Shizun turned to look at Steve to answer before she froze and lightly blushed seeing him. Oh good. Shizun has a crush. Beware her turning you female old man, Akane said boredly. Hush. Shizun growled at Akane as she made her fingers turn into points for emphasis. Wait, that's the one who does that? Bullshit she does. Tony yelled unbelieving this. Oh lord here we go, Naruto said as Shizun smiled kindly as she approached Tony. Janet get your phone out, Akane said with a snort of laughter as Shizun jabbed TL Tony with her fingers. Emporio on a HAREM. Shizun yelled. What the fuyuck? Tony yelled as his beard started to disappear and his voice became higher pitched as his body swapped to a female version of himself. Oh my god. Clint yelled as he looked at Tony in shock. Fascinating is this magic? Thor said as he inspected Tony. Tony, I have the papers you need to sign for dash, Pepper said, entering the room before seeing the now female Tony. Don't look, Pepper. Tony yelled in her now much higher pitched voice. Jarvis, record this for me, Pepper ordered. As fun as this is, Itachi, what's going on? You lot wouldn't show up without a reason, so let's hear it, Naruto said as he looked at the Uchiha. Yeah, did Kaa-san go off the deep end and go on another chocolate binge? Akane asked, getting a shudder from Naruto at the memory. No, she didn't. This is worse, Itachi said as he Gaara Shizun and Shisui frowned. Worse? She killed 15 sharks that day with her bare hands, Naruto said, baffled. Yamatora has been taken over by an invader. Most of us high-ranking fighters were able to flee to Egghead, but we can't win alone. Your mother and father are imprisoned, as are Tsunade and Jiraiya, Gaara explained. Naruto and Akane's eyes widened in shock at this before they glared and their conquered haki started going off, making the mansion shake. Who took my birthright? Akane demanded as she turned to her awakened half-wolf form and gnashed her fangs. The ruler of Latveria. Victor von Doom. And he had help from Danzo, Shisui told her. He has an army of robots of himself overseeing the general populace. Imprisoning any who would speak against him. My mother is one who was captured, Itachi explained. Danzo also has been instated as his second in command. To send a message, he had many businesses dismantled. Including Ichiraku Ramen, which he burned to the ground with his magma as a message to the other villagers. Naruto growled as he slugged a wall, destroying it. Calm down, Chala said as he approached Naruto. F that. My home is now under the thumb of a war criminal and some as with a god complex. Naruto yelled. And what will getting angry do? Will it change that he's ruling your people? Will you cry or fight? Chala asked. You better believe I'm gonna fight. Naruto yelled. Me too. Akane yelled as she grabbed her mace. I'm gonna crush this doom effer into pieces. Akane growled. You won't have to do it alone, right, Tony? Janet asked as she grabbed Naruto's hand and looked at the leader. Of course not, only thing I ask is that you undo this nightmare. Tony yelled at Shizun. Alright you baby, Shizun said as she approached Tony and turned back to a guy. We have a small rebellion making plans at Egghead, Prince, Itachi said to Naruto. Good, lead the way Shisui, Naruto said as he nodded at said Uchiha who made a new door. This should be big enough for everyone including your pet, Shisui said as he looked at everyone and Devil Dinosaur. Everyone nodded at this as they all piled into the door, which closed behind them. Meanwhile, outside the nearby window, a certain merc had been watching the whole thing play out from a bush as he grinned. So it's finally time, huh? Guess I'll rally the troops. Let's see. Logan and his buds, Sue and her team, the Smurf and the witch, the hot ninja, and the crazy sorcerer stalker. Oh, this'll be fun. Let the drums of liberation sound. Gahahahaha. Deadpool yelled as he ran off to go get help for the upcoming war. It was gonna be a fun one. Egghead. Skies over Japan. Inside a large room that was full of buildings, a doorway in the air opened up. Naruto, Akane, Janet, Tony, Steve, Thor, Chala, Hulk, Hank, Itachi, Shizun, Gaara, and Shisui stepped through the doorway as they landed on the floor of the massive room. Welcome to Egghead, Shisui said. However, before the door could be closed, Devil Dinosaur shoved his head through the doorway. Buddy, I don't think you can fit. Besides, if you come through, who will defend the mansion? Naruto said before Devil roared. Actually, it's true, Jarvis could defend it, and I'm sure Doom and Danzo won't be expecting a giant red-skinned T-Rex. Naruto said in thought. Just let him through, Hulk said with a scoff, knowing Naruto was gonna allow it anyways. The sooner they had whatever stupid meeting they were gonna have, the sooner he could smash something. Devil Dinosaur roared at this before he yelled before he was suddenly hit by a beam from Hank that shrunk him down so he could exit the door. There, now you have your pet. He'll be back to full size in an hour, Hank said as he holstered his device before he looked at the buildings in interest. What's that vending machine? Hank asked confused. Oh that? It's one of the old man's food dispensaries. It makes any food you longing from nothing. I still can't find the one at the mansion by the way brother, Akane said looking at Naruto. Yeah, 'cause you kept going on attack runs and patrols. Besides they don't have one at the mansion, Naruto informed his sister with a sigh. Food? From nothing? Tony asked wide-eyed at this reveal. Hulk approached the machine and after a few moments he pushed the cheeseburger button which resulted in what looked like robot hands coming out and making the burger for him before handing it to him on a tray along with some fries and a drink. Hulk, being the Hulk, dumped the entire tray into his mouth and ate said food. Tasty, Hulk said before releasing a loud belch. Ew, Janet said with a shudder at the green monster's antics. This is impossible. Hank yelled as his helmet gave him a reading of what the machine was capable of and it was telling him what Naruto said. Not impossible. You all just don't truly believe yet. A young male voice said as the group looked to see a very large boy with spiky brown hair and about the height of the Hulk wearing a large blue scarf and what looked like a lab coat which was labeled with the name Dr. Sarutobi. Hey Kono! Naruto yelled with a smile at the giant child. Prince Naruto and Princess Akane. Welcome back to Egghead. I trust you're here either for the other people who fled our horrible new leader or for the food vending machine that only makes ramen, Kono greeted with a smile as he approached. That's a thing. Naruto asked wide-eyed before he shook his head. I'll grab that before we leave, Naruto told him. This is the doctor of Egghead? Janet asked flabbergasted as this was pretty much a kid. Technically yes. But also no. Is your progenitor around? Akane asked. The old man. Oh, he's doing some last-minute adjustments to the pacifistas seeing as our great new leader thinks his bots are better than ours. But we'll show him. Kono yelled with a grin. Pacifistas? Hank asked with a raised eyebrow. Robots meant to defend our village when fighters aren't available. The old man really started to build them after our village got exposed to the world, Akane explained. Actually it's been on his list for years but he finally got to it now that me and the others exist, Kono said with a smile. As much as we'd love to hear of Dr. Sarutobi's latest invention we should all meet with everyone who fled here for a counterattack on Doom, Itachi said. Of course. Follow me. Don't mind the holograms, Kono said as he turned and led everyone down the road. Everyone looked around and saw what looked like giant robots and monsters fighting each other along with giant buildings and giant food dishes. Hulk like this place, Hulk said with a savage grin as he started to crack his knuckles in anticipation of a fight. They're all holograms big guy. Don't worry though you can help. Smash up Doom with me, Naruto said. All this is a hologram? What a waste, Hank said as he looked around as he had been completely fooled by them as they were better than even Tony's. This place is insane. Tony admitted as he looked around in slight awe. Not insane my boy. Just ahead of the time for the modern era. An old voice said as the group entered to see an old tan man with spiky white hair and a pointy white beard on his chin, but what really stood out was that on top of his head was what looked like an open lid. This was Dr. Hiruzen Sarutobi. Hey Ajisen. Loving the new look, Naruto said with a smile at the old man. Very slimming, Akane said with a chuckle. I suppose it would be a change compared to when you last saw me, the old man chuckled. Do I want to know? Hank asked curiously. No shame in asking my boy. You see my power let me learn infinitely and as I learned my brain grew and eventually it was as tall as a 12-story building, Sarutobi said with a smile. TW12-story. Hank, Clint, Tony, and Janet yelled out in shock while the other Avengers looked wide-eyed. And you removed it, lowering your intelligence? Chala asked curiously. Of course not. Using science I split my brain into pieces and gave them to my clone children. And any information I had is stored in our records area at the very top of Egghead, Hiruzen explained. CC clone children. Hank asked with wide eyes at this reveal. Well, I started at this age, but he sees all of us as his kids, Kono said with a smile at Sarutobi. Indeed I do. Now, as much as I'd love to give you all the grand tour, I believe your fellow villagers are in the power research area, Hiruzen said. They being guarded by Asuma? Naruto asked as they all followed Hiruzen. Indeed. I cannot trust Biwako around them. Not after she pickpocketed your mother last time she was here, Hiruzen said simply as the large group entered a large elevator that brought them down. This technology is amazing, Tony said in jealousy. Seeing everything made him envious of what was happening. I'm sure you try your best, Mr. Stark, Hiruzen said with a smile, making the billionaire fall onto the floor in despair at his words. Outdone by an old man who probably can't even get a lady's phone number, Tony groaned out. Probably why you are so behind, Akane said with a snicker. Doctor, may I ask you a question? Hank asked curiously. Of course you may. Asking a question is never wrong, Hiruzen said with a smile. Why don't you share your discoveries with the outside world? That vending machine alone could end world hunger, Hank said as this was bugging him. That vending machine you saw cost $8.9 billion United States dollars to make the one. Useful, yes, but in the long run not exactly something every country will pay for. To end world hunger they'd need to be on every street corner in every country of the entire world. Hiruzen said, simply getting wide eyes at the cost. Okay, but what about all the other things you make? Surely your technology could save many lives, Hank pointed out. Perhaps it could, but tell me something, my boy, how many lives could my inventions also ruin? Where there is creation there is destruction, and where there is good there is also evil. While everything I make is made to be used for education and for the benefit of others, it can easily be twisted for evil, Hiruzen said. You could limit sharing the humanitarian technology. One mean that's what I do, Tony said as he offered his suggestion. A good point, and I have brought this up to Lady Kushina, but she's well, Hiruzen said as he slightly shuddered. Stubborn and crazy as hell. Naruto offered before Akane slapped him. That is our mother. Show some respect, Akane told him with a glare. Indeed, but the prince isn't wrong. Though personally I would substitute crazy for intense, Hiruzen said as the elevator stopped and opened to reveal a large room filled with multitudes of people, as well as a large tube filled with a diamond blue colored fruit in a vat of green liquid. Here we are. Hiruzen said. Devil Dinosaur perked up at this as he sniffed the air curiously as he sat in Naruto's pocket. Easy, buddy. I'll get you some food after we make a plan, Naruto said with a smile as he patted the tiny dinosaur before turning to the assembled people. Prince Naruto has returned, a blonde girl with her hair in a ponytail and an eye covered by her bang wearing purple said with a smile. A little late though, a pink-haired girl said as what looked like ghosts appeared around her. Who cares? The BSTRD and his tough-as-nails sister is back. Let's go hit that son of B as hard as we can, a purple-haired woman said with a fanged smile as a purple mist came out of her breath. We can't do anything without a plan, Anko. Control yourself, a silver-haired man with his face covered by a blue mask said while reading a book. Ooh, it has been a while, Prince. My as handsome as the last time I saw you, an auburn-haired woman with green eyes said with a flirtatious smile. Back off. Janet yelled as she quickly blocked Naruto's path to this woman. Are you threatening me, little girl? The woman asked as she held up her hands cupped together in the shape of a heart as a pink glow formed between her hands. Stop it, May. Janet, ignore her teasing. She's a friend of our mother's. Naruto told her with a sigh at the older woman's antics. Indeed. I am the most appealing woman in the village, May said with a smile and a wink. Last time you said that mom threw you out the window, Akane deadpanned. You act like my sister needs a reason to attack someone, Akane, a weak voice said as Naruto and Akane turned to see a man with a frail body and red hair with purple eyes sitting in a wheelchair pushed by a woman with blue hair. Uncle Nagato? Naruto asked, surprised to see him. Conan got me out of the hospital when Doom attacked with Danzo. She made the call since I am still too weak to fight, Nagato admitted before he started coughing again and again. I have never seen such a man so weak and feeble, Thor admitted, looking at their uncle wide-eyed. He looked emaciated to the point he was nearly bone. His pale skin did not help with his initial thoughts either. I'm getting better thanks to Sarutobi's medical tech, but my treatment is on hold thanks to this incident with the village, Nagato admitted as Conan rubbed his back to help him breathe a little easier. I didn't even know you guys had an uncle, Tony said, looking at the man. Considering how much of a powerhouse Naruto and Acne both were, seeing this man so weak was insane. What's his power? Janet whispered to Naruto. One you don't want to be on the receiving end of. He can create vibrations through whatever he wants. Ground, sea. Doesn't matter. He's a tremor man, Naruto said with a shudder, as he had once sparred with the man when he was very young before his illness got too bad. He nearly died. He can make earthquakes. Hank shouted as he paled at this reveal. If not for his illness he would have been in charge of the village considering it's Mito's power, Akane said as she crossed her arms. Your mom can have it, kiddo. She's a fine leader even if she thinks the village is waiting for something that doesn't exist, Nagato said with a smile. Waiting for something that doesn't exist? Steve asked with a quirked eyebrow. Joy boy, Akane said with a scoff as she rolled her eyes. Kid, he's right next to you, Tony said confused. Not my idiot brother, the original he took the name from, an old folktale amongst our village. About a man from our village who freed our people from tyranny. Akane said boredly. It was said he laughed as his heartbeat sounded along with his laughter. For those with observation hockey at the time they heard it sound like drums, Shizen said with a smile. The drums of liberation they called it, Conan said as she was familiar as well. They said when he returns the village will finally open up to the outside world, Naruto said with a smile as he had always liked this story, hence why he took the name. A boring children's story. Folklore won't save our fellow villagers and rip apart this doom guy, Akane said, having enough of this talk. It's a shame you don't believe in such a thing, my dear girl, Hiruzen said with a sigh. Myth and legend won't save us. Now everyone shut up so we can plan an assault. Akane ordered. We should be ready soon. The pacifistas should be ready within 2 hours, a man said as he approached Akane and Naruto smoking a cigarette. I still can't believe the old man pawned his smoking habit off on a satellite, Akane muttered seeing the man. You try having a smoking addiction while also wanting to invent. I once spent an hour just smoking, Hiruzen grumbled. Any other things to note, Asuma? Naruto asked the satellite curiously. Yeah, this Doom has an army of Doom bots making a beeline for the island, Asuma said as he lit a new cigarette. Wait, I thought we were already in your village. Tony asked as he looked at Naruto. No, Egghead is an island off the coast of Japan that we use to hide the village from prying eyes. The village is on the other side of Japan in the mountains, Akane explained. Your cloaking technology reaches that far? Hank yelled wide-eyed. Like I said, Egghead is the best, Naruto said with a grin. Anyways, the Doom bots will be here in about Asuma was saying before an alarm went off. Now, Asuma finished flatly. I wouldn't worry. I'm sure Egghead defenses can destroy them, Akane said, not worried at all. What kind of defenses? Tony asked Hiruzen curiously. We have a laser net that covers the entire island. Nothing in or out can stand the heat from it. The plasma will rip them apart and burn them to ash, Hiruzen said nonchalantly as he typed on a computer to activate the defenses, only to pause as the command didn't go through. Konohamaru, did you change the passwords again as a prank? Hiruzen asked as he looked at the giant. Oh. Of course not, this is an invasion. I wouldn't do that now. I'd wait for after Miss Kushina takes over again. Maybe it was Biwako, Konohamaru suggested. Not possible, she's been with me all day barring this meeting, and even then she was in the resources area before I left. No way she got to the main control room that fast to input a password change on the entire system, Asuma said with a head shake. Then who could? Hiruzen asked before a loud boom sounded and an alarm went off. Hiruzen looked at the camera feed on a separate monitor and his eyes widened at seeing 12 Doom bots as well as 3 men. One had long silver hair cascading down his back wearing a white tank top and black pants. One had auburn hair and amber-colored eyes wearing a brown shirt and white pants with brown gloves. And the final one had a black mask with goggles over the eyes on with combed-down spiky black hair wearing all black. "What's going on, Ajisen?" Naruto asked as he looked over the old man's shoulder and looked at the monitor. "Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Those assholes are out." Naruto groaned out with a frown. You know these guys?" Clint asked confused as everyone else had taken a look at the monitor. 2 of them were Danzo's students before he was ousted from his old position by Mom. They tried to help get their boss back into power, so Mom locked them up for trying to poison Dad. The silver-haired guy is worse though. He was a combat teacher in our village, but Dad found out he was actually planning to traffic off some of the less renowned students to different yakuza groups and crime dens in Japan for some money and women for when he would leave the village, Naruto said with a glare at the screen. "And he kept kicking your ass while in school," Akane said with a knowing grin. "He did to you as well, sis. If I recall, he once beat on you for a straight hour without even using his power." Naruto shot back, making Akane growl in anger at her brother's words. "He's that strong?" Chala asked, a bit concerned. "Then yes. Now though I doubt it. He's been locked up for years. Once Dad found out his plans, he beat the hell out of him and locked him up in our village's maximum security prison," Naruto informed them. "Careful, Whiskers, prison makes people stronger physically sometimes," Tony warned. "Not ours. They were completely immobilized and in chains with lasers on them 24/7. Naruto said. "And forced to watch bad television," Akane said with a snicker. "Wait, Mom finally added that." "Yes. I told you it would work." Naruto laughed at the info. "As fun as this is, perhaps we should worry about the 12 robots and 3 BSTRDS that are working for Danzo." Shisui yelled. Right sis, I have Mizuki. You get your pick of the leftovers," Naruto said as he looked at his sister. "No fair, I wanted that BSTRD. Akane yelled. Before Naruto could respond, the wall nearby exploded and a swarm of Doom bots swarmed inside. SHT, they sent the robots first. "So me, Pinky, Hag, and Blondie are useless," Enko grunted out since her poison wouldn't affect machines. "The F you calling a Hag USLT?" Mei yelled. "Not the time for fighting. Shisui, get them and anyone who can't fight away from here." Itachi ordered as he stared down the bots. "Avengers. Assemble." Steve yelled as he readied his shield. "We'll protect the people here. Go after the 3 leaders," Tony ordered Akane and Naruto since they had hockey. Naruto spotted Mizuki as he entered the room and glared at him. "Ah, the prince is back, welcome home," Mizuki said with a mocking bow as Fu and Torian flanked him. "I'm gonna send you back to your new MSTR, broken you dash," Naruto was saying before he was attacked by Mizuki being sent flying back with a hockey-coated punch. This caused the still small devil dinosaur to be sent flying out of Naruto's pocket across the room before he landed on the glass case with the blue fruit in it. "You're still the best punching bag in the village, RBBBRT." Mizuki laughed. "Let's test that theory." Naruto yelled as he went into gear 2 and sent a barrage of punches at Mizuki, who sidestepped out of the way of each punch. "So slow. I think all of the wares you've been hanging around with have distracted you, boy," Mizuki said mockingly. Naruto growled at this before he started to go even faster. "Who touched a nerve?" Mizuki asked as he still dodged each hit easily. "Stepping away from each strike without much issue. The fact that you and your sister were gonna be made in charge disgusts me, but at least with you this week you would have been no threat to my plans," Mizuki said before a punch finally smashed into his face. "Lucky hit BRT," Mizuki grunted out. "At least I'm attacking. Instead of running hands, alls I see is your mouth running, you PP," Naruto growled out, annoyed. Meanwhile, the Avengers were escorting the civilians away when a Doom bot flew towards Clint, about to fire a bullet from its gauntlet at the aiming archer. As this happened, Itachi quickly grabbed Clint and threw him out of the way, taking the hit. "You idiot, I was fine where, huh?" Clint asked, seeing the bullet pass through Itachi while flames licked up from the wound. "I'm a Logia type," Itachi informed him before holding his fingers up in a cross sign, crossfire. Itachi yelled, sending a cross-shaped blast of flames at the Doom bot, sending it back. "We must destroy these vile machines." Thor yelled, smashing Mjolnir into the face of a Doom bot, which sent it flying back before it slammed into Steve's shield, who was using it to SCRT Shizun. "Jarvis can't hack them for some reason." Tony yelled, sending a repulsor blast at one, which it deflected towards Steve, who blocked the beam with his shield. "This isn't gonna be easy," Steve said before Hulk suddenly leapt onto one and started smashing his fists into the bot. "Hulk smash annoying Tin Man!" Hulk yelled out, pounding his fists into the robot replica of Dr. Doom, trying to destroy it as the robot held up its own hands and held back Hulk's fists with its own strength. However, the moment Hulk started to break free of the robot's grip, lightning discharged from the gauntlets of the Doombot in an attempt to electrify the green giant. Wrath. Lightning too weak for Hulk. Goldilocks lightning hurt more. Hulk yelled out in a rage as he slammed his fists in a double axe handle into the robot, sending it to the floor crushed to pieces. Janet shrunk down in size and flew at one of the other Doombots and started to zap it with her stingers as she flew as fast as she could around the robot, only for her blasts to be ineffective on the machine. Guys, my stingers aren't working on these things," Janet said a bit worriedly before she dodged a small concussive blast fired at her from the Doombot. Akane meanwhile was facing off against Danzo's lackeys Fu and Torian with her mace drawn as she went into her half-divine wolf form. "Let's see if you fools can stand up to me when I go all out." Akane growled as ice started to form on her mace as she rushed at the two. "You will never beat us." Slow beam." Torian yelled as he sent a purple beam from his fingers at Akane. But she just pounced over it and swung her mace at Torian, smashing him in the face, sending him flying. Fu, seeing this, glared at Akane before he crouched. "Your Zoan form is no match for us." Spring Hopper. Fu yelled as he leapt into the air and started to bounce off the walls around Akane, picking up speed as she looked on. Akane kept her guard up but smirked before she dodged to the side, avoiding a slow beam which hit Fu and slowed him to a snail's pace. "Wide open, little bee!" Akane yelled, sending her ice-covered mace into the slowed Fu as soon as Torian dropped the beam, sending the orange-haired man flying directly into his ally and making both crash against the wall. "I'm done playing with you two. Take this. Namoji Hyoga." Akane roared, opening her maw and sending a beam of ice into the two and freezing them solid into the wall. Back with Naruto and Mizuki. "I think it's time we get serious, BRT, Mizuki said with a savage grin before he started to grow in size as his skin turned yellow and black spots appeared as Mizuki entered a Zoan hybrid leopard form. "Oh darn, I didn't bring any catnip or a laser pointer, guess I'll just have to go all out." Naruto yelled as he blew air into his arm and went into Gear 4 Snakeman. "Stupid look, kid. I'm gonna enjoy gutting you after what your mother and father put me through. Say maybe when you're dead I'll make that insect girl and your sister my bees. That'll be fun for me." Mizuki cackled in mad glee, before a stretched fist slammed into his face, making the room quake from the force. "I'm going to rip you apart." Naruto growled out as he attacked Mizuki, sending a barrage of fists into the leopard man. "Hey! Since when can you channel Conqueror's Haki in your attacks?" Akane yelled, seeing this as she had never seen her brother do so before. "I watched you do it with your mace on patrols and practiced it when I had time. Took me a few weeks, but he pissed me off enough to try it out," Naruto said as he sent more punches into Mizuki. "We can't hold these bots much longer, Whiskers." Tony yelled as he sent a repulsor blast at another Doombot, totaling the number destroyed after all the effort to 4 down 8 to go. As the fight continued, everyone heard a crash and a roar as Devil Dinosaur grew back to his full size, and what was noticeable was that he had the fruit that was in the glass case in his mouth. "DD, drop it!" Naruto yelled as he slugged Mizuki, sending him skidding back. "No, wait, eat it." Sarutobi yelled out from his hiding spot where Asuma and Konohamaru were blasting Doombots with blasters. Devil Dinosaur bit down and swallowed the entire fruit in one sitting. Immediately after though his face turned green as he spat a bit out before his body started to change. With a roar the dinosaur started to have his skin turn into a diamond-like substance. Blue crystals coating him. What the hell, old man? Akane yelled as Devil Dinosaur charged at the Doombots, easily tanking their concussive blasts. Yes. I finally made a way to artificially give people powers like us. Hiruzen yelled with a smile. Holy SHT. What the hell else have you been working on? Clint yelled as he ducked under a lightning blast from a Doombot which Didi stepped on, crushing it to scrap. Worry about the robots for now. Steve ordered as he sent his shield into a Doombot, sending it into the air as Thor smashed his hammer down on it, destroying it. Powers like us or not, I'm gonna make sure you all die here. Mizuki growled out as his fists were coated in hockey as he dashed as fast as he could at Naruto. But as he charged, Janet quickly flew over and sent a blast at Mizuki's legs, hitting him in the ankle, making him stumble right into Naruto's fist. The impact making the leopard man crash into the wall of the lab as rubble and machinery fell on top of him, pinning him underneath. Next time you threaten my girlfriend and sister, I'll make you wish you had been killed by my mother, Naruto warned as he shifted back to his normal form before taking a deep breath. You okay? Janet asked, concerned as she hovered next to his head. Yeah, I'm fine, thanks for the assist, sweetie, Naruto said with a smile, getting a smile. Hey, as much as I love the fact you two are having a moment, can you help us with these robots? Clint yelled. Why? Sis and Didi have it, Naruto said as he pointed nearby where Devil Dinosaur was shaking a Doombot in his mouth before throwing him at Akane, who smashed it with her mace, destroying it. Batter up, mother f***ers. Ha 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 ha. Akane laughed out psychotically. I figured you would be mad the old man had found a way to give out powers like ours, Naruto said with a chuckle at this. Complain about a diamond skin T-Rex as a pet. Do I look crazy to you, brother? Akane asked. So can me and Janet volunteer for a power then? Clint asked as he raised a hand. Earn it, circus boy, Akane told him as she crushed the last remaining Doombot. You too. You may be brothers CNCBN and have my respect, but even I need more proof before entrusting a power to you, Akane told Janet. It's a futile conversation, I only had the one fruit, Hiruzen said, getting up from his hiding spot before he groaned. Ugh, these old bones of mine aren't meant to bend over anymore. The doctor groaned out. Well, we best 12 robots and 3 people from your village and I'm already drained, Tony said as he took a breath. Well, rest up, rich boy, we leave when the pacifistas are ready. In the meantime I'm gonna go find out what disabled the defenses, Akane said before turning to Konohamaru. Come with me. You have more access here than I do, so you can help, Akane told him as she walked away. Someone is gonna end up dead. Calling it now, Janet said with a deadpan tone, seeing this exchange. Probably. Now who wants to eat? Naruto asked as the team nodded, knowing rest and recovery would be needed before they got to Yamatora village. 2 hours later. The pacifistas were fully online and Akane had managed to hunt down the culprit for the defenses being disabled. Turns out one of the satellites Hiruzen created had contacted Doom to inform him of everything going on and the plan for the infiltration in exchange for some amnesty and perks when all was said and done. I swear it wasn't me. A young woman with brown hair in a twin bun yelled as she was chained down with hockey suppression cuffs on her wrists. This was the traitorous satellite Koharu. Don't bother, you piece of CRP. You're lucky I'm leaving you to be judged by my mother, Akane yelled. You think your group of rebels can win? You have no hope. Your team barely fought off a few robots and now you want to take down an army. You'll all die painfully. Your organs will be ripped out. Your skin will be flayed from your bones by Doom. And my only regret will be that I can't watch it happen. Koharu yelled, no longer playing the innocent victim since it wasn't working anyways. Sis, can you hit her with your mace already? Naruto asked as he sat in front of the food vending machine. Yeah, we're trying to make a plan here. Tony yelled as he ate a burger. Don't have to tell me twice, Akane said before cracking her mace into Kohara's head. Knocking the satellite out cold. So what's the plan so far? Akane asked as she approached the group and snatched a box of chicken nuggets from Hank. We know that your parents and the other prisoners are being kept inside the maximum security prison beneath the palace. Doom has an army of Doom bots patrolling. Danzo and him are in the palace as well, along with the equipment he has to keep endlessly creating his army. Unfortunately, the only chance we have is an all-out assault on the palace gates, since Doom knows we'll be there. Every other opening will be fortified, but not that one. Gaara said as they all looked at a holographic map showing the village. Why not make a door inside? Hank asked as he looked at Shursui. I'm gonna take a small team inside to try and take out the production of Doom bots. If all of us go in, then we'll be constrained to fighting in hallways against an endless horde of robots, a Magma Logia user, and Doom himself. We'd have no combat room and no way of victory. Shursui explained. The frontal assault is to draw them out. They know we're coming. So it's the best plan we have, and it hinges on shutting down the Doom bots, Itachi explained with his eyes closed. Not exactly an inspiring plan, Tony commented after hearing what they had. It wasn't even really a plan. It was a suicide assault with almost no chance of victory. The fact that he knows of us coming due to a traitor means stealth isn't an option. The pacifistas can hold off some of his Doom bots, but he can produce a near-endless amount. In a war of attrition he'll win unless we do this plan, Kakashi said as he looked at Tony seriously. Kid, make the call. It's your village, and I assume as prince you have the final say in this plan. If you say to go for it, then I'll have you lead the Avengers in battle, Tony said, turning to Naruto. I'd rather have a different plan, but we have no other choices. And even then you guys are still winded. So I'll say this: whoever doesn't want to fight may stay here. I will not judge if you don't wish to put your life on the line. Only follow if you truly want to fight, Naruto said to those assembled. Have we considered negotiating with Dash? Hank was asking. Shut up, bug boy / Hank, Akane and surprisingly Janet said simultaneously before looking at each other. Doom deposed my family from rule and took over by force. There is no negotiation, Hank. Now everyone get ready. Hiruzen has prepared a jet for us to take to the village. When we get there we'll be in the fight of our lives. If you're not on the jet in 30 minutes, then you've decided to not fight, Naruto said as he stood up and walked away from the table. We're all with you, son, don't worry, Steve said as he and the other Avengers nodded. Boy of joys, you have proven a capable warrior, as has your sister. No, I would follow you into the depth of hell itself if necessary, Thor said as he held his hammer as a sign of being ready for the fight. You know I'm with you. No matter what, Janet told him with a smile as she kissed him on the cheek. You helped my people. It is only right I do the same, Chala said. If you die, then I lose my favorite sparring partner. Besides, I want to smash this Doom punk, Hulk said with a grin. I can't have the Avengers going off without their illustrious and handsome leader. So I'll be their RBB boy, Tony said with a smirk as everyone turned to Hank waiting for his response. I'll help, seeing as if Doom gets his hands on Egghead technology then the world will probably suffer, Hank said with a sigh. Good point, you don't want to see what he will do with the Mother Flame, Akane said with a harrowed tone. Oh, we're F if he gets that, Naruto said, pale and terrified at the thought. Do we want to know? Janet asked warily. Not if you like having morale for the coming battle, Naruto admitted before he took a breath. Let's get ready to fight. Yamatora Kingdom. So Hydra has sent you to negotiate my services, Dr. Doom said, sitting on a golden throne as he stared down at Natasha Romanoff, who held a metal briefcase. 60 million US dollars cash in exchange for as many robotic soldiers as you can create. Natasha said, bowing as she presented the briefcase before him. Before Doom could answer, a booming crash was heard outside which made the building shake slightly as Danzo came rushing in. MSTR, there is an issue within the village, Danzo said with a hasty bow. Have the deposed prince and princess returned already? I expected to see them within another hour according to our informant, Doom said as he stood up. It's not them MSTR. It's others. Coming from large green portals, Danzo explained. Doom's eyes narrowed behind his mask as Heb looked at his monitors, seeing what looked like an army of heroes attacking the front gates of the village being led by. Come on out, metal face. We're here for revolution. Viva la chimichanga. Deadpool yelled, wearing a blue tailcoat, a naval captain's hat, and holding a cavalry saber aloft as the other heroes ran past him through the destroyed gates and attacking the arriving Doombots. Orders MSTR. Danzo asked as he bowed his head. These pests dare to trespass upon my new palace. I shall end them myself, Doom said angrily as she stood up from his throne. We shall conclude our business later after I deal with these insolent pests, Black Widow. For now wait for my return, Doom said as he and Danzo walked out of the throne room, leaving Natasha alone. This is bad. Doom in charge of Yamatora is gonna cause more harm to the world than good. I need to contact Fury, Natasha thought as she pushed a button on her wrist, sending a recording of the last hour to Fury so he was aware of what was happening. Palace prisons. Inside a prison, Kushina and Minato looked down in anger and shame at their defeat and capture from their cell. Their cuffs suppressing their haki and powers preventing their escape. It's not your guy's fault, you two, an older man with white hair said in a cell next to a very buxom blonde woman. These were Jiraiya and Tsunade. Yes, it is. I should have executed that son of AB the moment he was replaced by my husband, Kushina growled out, angry at herself. She spared Danzo because he was Hiruzen's old friend back in the day and because she hoped his knowledge would be useful for the future of the village even if his personality was SHT. Before Tsunade could say anything, a green portal opened up as Amora stepped through in all her glory as she looked amongst the cells. Ah, so this is the prison. Impressive technology for such a primitive realm, Amora said as she looked around. Who's the babe? Jiraiya asked, confused before he groaned as Tsunade sent a kick at his groin in anger. Ah, are you my love's mother and father? Amora asked with a smile as she approached the cell containing Kushina and Minato. Your love's miss? Minato asked with a raised eyebrow. Indeed now. Amora said as she snapped her fingers, casting her magic, making Minato and Kushina's cuffs disappear. I can't have my future in-laws be restrained. I need you there for the wedding after all, Amora said with a smile. You sure you have the right people here, lady? Kushina asked as she rubbed her wrist. Why, yes. You are the parents of Naruto Uzumaki, right? The hero known as Joy Boy. He is my beloved. And I'll kill anyone who dares to bring harm upon his family or him. Amora yelled out as her smile turned into a snarl of rage with fire dancing in her eyes. I like her. Kushina said with a bright smile after a few moments of silence. Of course you would. She has your insanity, Tsunade muttered before her cuffs suddenly disappeared from her wrist along with Jiraiya's. I can't leave my beloved's grandparents in jail either. Especially with the reward promised by my beloved's friend, Amora sighed with a sigh of happiness. Friend? Minato asked curiously as he blasted the cell doors open with a light beam. Yes. His friend from America asked for my assistance in bringing others here to free you all while my beloved heads here, Amora explained. How many? Jiraiya asked as they all headed for the door. Let's see, we have the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, 2 mutants from Genosha, Deadpool himself, my beloved's ninja CNCBN, the soldier turned cosmic heroine and Dash, Amora was saying before a Doombot dropped down before them, broken and destroyed as Sasuke dropped from the ceiling. Me, he said as he stood up to his full height. Uchiha. What's your angle here? Working for Danzo? Kushina yelled, getting ready to fight him off if needed. Relax, I'm not here to help that BSTRD, I've got a score to settle with the prince. If he dies I don't get my rematch. Sasuke said. I thought you wanted to thank him for breaking that cursed mark that was on your neck. Amora asked with a raised eyebrow. Jiraiya, Tsunade, and Minato's eyes widened at this as they looked at each other in realization. I have multiple reasons for this. But for once in my life my reasons are my own. That's all that matters. Sasuke said seriously. Glad to hear it, BRT. Give Auntie a hug. Kushina yelled with a smile as she pulled Sasuke into a tight hug. Oi. Let me go DMN it. This is not dignified. Sasuke yelled as he struggled to get loose. Perhaps you should save it for after we depose the tyrant mother-in-law, Yamura suggested. Right. Hey BRT, you feel up for showing those Doom bots how scary you can be? We still have others left to break out after all, Kushina asked Sasuke with a grin as she let him go as a swarm of Doom bots flew at them. Sasuke said nothing to this as he stepped forward and held up his hand as darkness leaked from him. You machines will wish you could feel fear after I'm done with you, Sasuke said with a glare. Palace gates. A large black jet flew over the village as a ramp opened up mid-flight as Naruto, the Avengers, and the others leapt out and either parachuted down or flew down into the village before seeing a ton of destroyed Doom bots litter the ground. What's going on? Chala asked as they saw the gates were destroyed. I have no idea. This shouldn't have happened yet, Naruto said as he looked around before they all heard something in the distance. Bang! 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 Pineapple surprise! Bang! 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 Deadpool yelled as he fired his machine guns at some Doombots nearby while also throwing a grenade every now and then. Oh god no, Tony groaned as he slapped his forehead with a clang. Wade, what the hell are you doing here? Naruto asked as Devil Dinosaur growled at the Mad Merc as he ran over. Hey Rubber Boy. You guys are late as F. We all got started without you. Wade yelled. We? Akane asked confused as she raised an eyebrow. Deadpool jerked his thumb over his shoulder at the big battle where all of the heroes he had brought were attacking the army of Doombots. Elektra and Mystique had tag-teamed on a Doombot distracting it while Rogue smashed a hockey-coated fist through the face of the robot. Wolverine and Laura had turned another Doombot into a scratching post to see who could slice it up worse. She-Hulk was throwing bots with powerful judo throws into the air for Johnny to melt with a blaze. The thing was running roughshod over every Doombot he could, trampling them into the dirt. Storm was sending large gusts of wind at the Doombots to halt their flying while Cyclops lasered them into oblivion. Carol was ripping through Doombots left and right with her bare fists coated in her new energy. Wanda was using her hexes to rip the robots apart into scrap. And even Susan was there, using her force fields to crush the robots into broken scrap heaps. I gathered an army of everyone who likes you. Except the webhead. He needed to stay behind to watch the Big Apple, Deadpool said. How did you bring all of these people here? Akane asked as she knew most of them hated Wade. And by most she meant all. I told them your RBB brother was in some SHT and showed them the conversation between him and your villager pals and they agreed. Alls I needed after that was someone to port us all here. And I had the perfect option. Deadpool said with a happy tone. Who? Janet asked, knowing that bringing this many people would be a large task. Your RBB boyfriend's Asgardian stalker. Deadpool supplied helpfully. I just needed some incentive, he claimed. Incentive? Tony asked, confused at what the merc was talking about. Flashback. You have 1 minute to explain how you found our base, Yamura said to a magically chained Deadpool. I teleported here and came to ask for your help, Wade said. I don't longing to help you, mortal. Now how shall I kill you? Yamura mused. Wait. I don't need help. Naruto, Joy Boy Uzumaki does. He yelled, getting her attention. Speak, worm. Yamura ordered. His village was taken over by Dr. Doom. I have an army of heroes lined up to help your beloved fight off Doom, but we need someone who can teleport us there, Wade explained. How do I not know this isn't some kind of trick? Yamura asked with a glare as the chains loosened off of him. It's not, but as a show of good faith I'll throw in these pictures I took of Joy Boy in the shower, Wade said holding up a bunch of photographs. Deal. Yamura yelled with a smile and hearts in her eyes as she snatched the photos from Deadpool's hands. Flashback end. And that's how I got your blonde stalker to help us all out. No need to thank me, Wade finished his explanation. I don't know whether to thank you or let Janet zap you in several vital areas, Naruto said with a deadpan tone as Janet's eye was twitching in anger. However, whatever attempt to kill Wade that she would have done was suddenly halted as Kakashi leapt in front of them. This is great, we have a way better chance now. Kakashi said as lightning started coming off his hands before firing a blast of lightning at a Doombot that Wands had restrained. They like me. Deadpool yelled as he ran off swinging his blades at the incoming Doombots. He's gonna be the death of me. I'm calling it now, Naruto said with a sigh. Hey, he got us a army, I say, count your blessings, Akane said with a grin as she smashed a bot with her mace. True. Alright, let's go dethrone a tyrant. Avengers. Assemble. Naruto yelled as he went into Gear 2 and charged into the fray. As the fight continued, suddenly the palace exploded and Doom in his full dragon form burst out of it with a roar. Danzo riding on his back before the old man leapt onto the ground before the destroyed gates. Danzo, so finally showing up to fight your own battles for once? Or is Doom gonna do everything so you can get back to jerking him off? Akane asked with a glare as she hefted her mace up. I'm gonna enjoy putting you down, BRT, Danzo said as his body started to sizzle with magma. Before the two could clash, another loud boom was heard as a large hole came from a palace wall as Devil Dinosaur in his diamond mode burst out roaring. My factory! Doom yelled in a rage seeing this as the building started to explode. Yasukani no Magatama. A yell was heard as blasts of light fired from the newly made hole blasting towards Doom, who evaded the blasts. Impossible! You were imprisoned. Danzo yelled seeing Minato appear in a flash of light in the air. We had help escaping, Minato said as he landed in front of a blue dome that formed when suddenly Kushina, Tsunade, Mikoto, Jiraiya, Yamura, and Sasuke appeared in the place of some stones that were originally. Round 2, Danzo. This time you're going to the morgue. Kushina yelped as she transformed into what looked like a half-human half-kitsune. So you were freed by the traitorous Uchiha, I see, Danzo said, narrowing his eyes at Sasuke. Sasuke? Naruto asked, shocked seeing him. You're helping us? Akane asked warily seeing him. I'm here to rip the old man apart. When this is over we'll figure out where we stand now that my cursed mark is gone. Until then though I have a geriatric to arrange a funeral for, Sasuke said with darkness wafting off him. I grow tired of this. Doom roared as his full dragon form slammed onto the ground making a crater. Naruto locked eyes with Doom as he switched to his half-dragon form and narrowed his eyes before he pumped himself up and switched to Gear 4 and bounced at the Dragon Man. You and me have business as. Naruto yelled as he charged his fist with Conqueror's Haki as he approached Doom. Doom's eyes narrowed behind his mask before he raised his own fist and let it clash with Naruto's punch. This caused a shockwave to go off and the clouds above them to suddenly explode and disappear as if forced apart by an invisible force. The kid was right about the sky thing. Tony yelled seeing this in person. You should never doubt a Yamatoran's words, Stark, a voice said behind him as Nagato and Conan appeared via parachute from the jet above. You okay to be here, sir? Hank asked as he flew on one of his ants. I think I've got enough to help out family. We Uzumaki never abandon our family after all, Nagato said with a smile before he stood up from his wheelchair and took a stance with both his arms out. You gave him that power, Author-sama? Hit the deck. Deadpool yelled in a panic as cracks started to form in the air before them as the ground started to quake. You can do this, Nagato. Conan yelled as the quakes suddenly grew in power from her words alone. As the ground shook, Naruto and Doom continued to exchange blows as they fought each other across the village. I must say you're most impressive, and here I thought RBB was derivative thanks to how easy it was to kill Reed Richards, Doom told him before a punch from Naruto sent him to the ground on one knee. Someone as heartless and vile as you has no right to badmouth a great man like him. Naruto yelled. Heartless? I seek true peace for the world while your pathetic village holds so much greatness for itself and does nothing with it. You see it as well. I know you do. It's why you left. Doom yelled at the prince. You're right. The village does have so much it can offer. But under your rule it will only bring death. Naruto yelled with a glare. You disappoint me, boy. But your opinion is of no consequence to me. I will have everything I need now. And then I will bring peace, Doom said, standing back up. Everything? You killed a great man to claim his wife and tried to kill their infant child. All because you see her as a possession. You will never bring peace to the world when deep down you're more of a monster than the ones you claim to want destroyed by you. Susan Storm will never love you, and you know it. Naruto yelled at the masked villain. Your words fall on deaf ears, but you are right about something. If I cannot have her, then no one can, Doom said as he looked past Naruto to see Susan holding up a force field and crushing a Doombot. Naruto's observation haki quickly warned him of what was about to happen. For the first time ever he could see the future, and it alerted him to what Doom was about to do, and he quickly moved just as Doom entered back into his dragon form and sent a blast breath towards Susan. The stream of flames moving like a bullet towards her while her back was turned. Get down! Naruto yelled as he on instinct jumped in front of her and ballooned up. Whole haki coated his back to absorb the impact. A large explosion shook the ground, halting all the other fighting as everyone turned to see a large smoke cloud dispersing. Naruto! Janet yelled as she saw Naruto standing over Sue, who was on the ground looking up at him. His clothing burned away, and him panting for breath as the haki on his back faded. I'm alright, Naruto breathed out as he went to help Susan stand up before HRRK. Naruto suddenly gasped in pain as Doom teleported behind him with a sword in hand as it pierced his back through Naruto's chest. You are weak and foolish, boy. Your kindness and compassion were your undoing. Doom said before ripping his sword out. Hulk roared at this before he jumped at Doom and clashed with him, sending them both away from the battlefield, while Thor threw his hammer at Doom before flying after them both to help the Hulk. Tony flew after them while Steve, Chala and Hank went after them to back them up. Beloved! Amora yelled as she suddenly ran over to him, her hands glowing with green energy as she placed them on his chest. You can't die on me. Why, you really do care, huh? Maybe you're not as bad as I thought, Naruto said with a smile as BLD leaked from his mouth. His eyes slowly closing. No. No. Please no. Janet yelled as she flew over to him, please don't die on me. Please, I'm begging you. Janet yelled in distress. Tears in her eyes. His wound is closing. Let me work. Amora yelled as she focused on her magic. I will drag him back from whatever afterlife he is in myself if needed. I'll pay my soul even. Just bring him back. Amora yelled as her magic brightened even more. As Naruto's wounds healed, smoke started to come off him, more specifically his chest. What is that? Susan asked worriedly. It reminds me of Gear 2, but this feels different, Janet said. She looked at Naruto, whose eyes were still closed. His heart, it beats oddly, Amora said as she was healing him and had the best chance of noticing the irregularity. Huh? What do you mean it beats oddly? Janet asked as she looked at Amora. It's as I said. It's like there is a drum inside him going off. Amora yelled. Drums? Susan asked curiously. Janet's eyes widened at this as she thought back to what Shizun had said back on Egghead. As she did this, more smoke came off Naruto and his hair started to turn white and he suddenly started to smile. So alright folks, that's all for today. Stay tuned for part 5. Do subscribe, like and share for more such videos. Also check out the story and author KFB Anime 87 on fanfiction.net. Press the bell icon to be notified first on release. See you in the next video. Till then, goodbye.